Sharif, though, on the green screen. Let's go.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean, they're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to take the names as decided by you. So join Adara on How to Trade Midday Show and get into the chat. Vote for your favorite tickers every day. And Neil and Sean, they'll cover it for you. Let's start with the SPY. We are literally at highs on the SPY. ES September, contract doing quite well today. A little underperforming the NQ. They've been flipping and flopping. At the ES a little bit ahead of the NQ a little bit ahead of the ES. What is for certain, though, is that the Russell outperforming all the indexes, Dow Jones included. We'll have to keep an eye on the SPY. A lot of economic stuff this week as well. We've got the Fed minutes as well as Jackson Hole coming out at the end of the week with Jerome Powell slated to speak on Friday. That conference, though, starts on Wednesday. Tesla, the #1 name as selected by you guys. No real catalyst for this one today, but there was some positive news coming out of China with respect to the, the tensions between East and West, looking to basically come to some sort of consensus economically there. Didn't really see too much other than Piper Sandler's maintaining that $240 price target, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Sharif. And thank you very much for extending that a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Just finished a very delicious apple fritter, courtesy of my friend who went to Tim Hortons. I have not had a single one since
opening my coffee
since
now.
the injury. But yeah, I had to make sure that I didn't have sugar all over my face. It didn't take me very long to eat it. And I'm not always the most patient person when it comes to how quickly I was
going to say, where's the apple fritter? I thought it was only 5 minutes ago.
I really don't. So
Ramin's got the ice cap going on.
This is the thing, like some people like to savor certain things, and I love savoring good food. But when it comes to an apple fritter,
there's no savor.
I literally destroy it. Like I wouldn't even want you guys to see me eat one because I think it's a little bit, it's not nice, a little uncouth. But Tesla was all about this 220 breakout because the dip buy came fast and furious this morning. I'd say almost a lot crazier than what you would have anticipated because you immediately, you tested the 220 for that breakout level that we liked. Immediately just started flushing. So at 9:35, you were right down at the 214 for a quick little dip. It then didn't break out 220. Put in your higher low here, no chance to get to 214 again. And then it was just breakout off the 220, some reloading off of there, and then a bit of a VWAP trade on Tesla. So it's station to station. It hasn't broken 222. The good news, we mentioned this with Danielle Shea last week. All she cared about on Thursday was can you hold on to the 50 period? Can you hold on to 205? And it's done that so far to start the week. It hasn't really broken that far out of this little slight downward trend since that 270 top, but it's doing its best to try to break it as we speak. That looks like a little something like this. Right, you get those higher lows. It didn't break it last time. It would need to get out and about above that 222. So you're running into trend resistance up top here on Tesla. The afternoon trade, it's doing these higher lows. I'd like, and I said this in the midday, I'd like to be off VWAP or off a 220 in here for the afternoon. Those are the two levels I like on Tesla. The only two things that I've traded on this stock, or prices, I should say, or areas that I've traded on the stock.
As far as Tesla's concerned, I didn't have it on the sticky note here. I was just looking at what was on the sticky note. It's going to come up next. NVIDIA, buy. NVIDIA right here, buy. 124 support. Hope I'm not muted. I hope I could. Oh, it fell off.
Oh, it fell off.
It's right here. There we go. Thank you. Too much small ice caps over there. But at the end of the day, this is what I was looking at right now. We still have a piece in on NVIDIA. NVIDIA now, Patrick and Neil and everybody. $5 now in the money and really making a difference to my net today. Just by holding this one piece is adding about 15% of my net, just this last piece that we have left. So it's a big one right here. All right, let's go back over to the desk and I'll talk more about it after Sharif gives his little speech.
Good trade, Sean. Goldman Sachs liking NVIDIA ahead of earnings, remaining bullish on it despite the fact that the GB and the B chip Chips, the Blackwell chips are going to be delayed for this year, slated to be delivered the start of 2025. Doesn't matter, though, to Tobayashi Hari, the analyst for Goldman Sachs, liking this one, expecting a beat, guys.
Gold?
Yeah, look, we've been liking this. Katina Capital been upgrading this name for quite a long time, and I mean it's been on the sticky note for a very, very long time. And today we actually already showed it to you. We wrote it down at Trader TV, Sean. We said 124 support, 125 might be something that we wind up taking if it was a pre-market level. It was. The pre-market level was like 125.50, so that breakout is really huge. But we did exactly what we thought we would do. Buy, and more buys, and just being able to hold on to it is pretty sweet. I don't think you have any reason not to just keep going long NVIDIA every single day. It has been the #1 stock on this floor for many days here, and I feel like it's going to continue, and I'm actually going to predict something tomorrow. Tomorrow, this will probably be my #1 stock again. Let's just wait to see what winds up happening. If we're going to come in every day and see the NASDAQ flatter up, then I'm going to be going long NVIDIA. I do wait for that one day when everybody says, okay, the move is over here. Let's start to downgrade something. And I think that could come next Wednesday when we talk about their earnings. So it's just no one's going to want to be short into that earnings call. What a run up it's had right here just in the last couple of days. Even if you take this from when we started going long, 110, 115, 120 breakouts, now up to 130. It's worked so well last week. It's been up 30% plus from the bottom. I mean, forget about all those washout days. Just this little flush into here where we were buying it. Even then, now you've added $20, $25. NVIDIA's the name to trade. It's a huge name. And yeah, we'll just continue on that trek. This one's not, as Neil says, a station-to-station play. Never really is. It just keeps on going. You got to throw some into the wind for a shot. We did get out at 125.50 for $2. I think if you can get a $2 winner on a $120 name, that's good. But at the end of the day, I always say this, and I think everybody that trades it says the same thing. You wish that you had held on for a little bit more. In the chip space, another name that we hit, this is a one and done. I'll probably get out of this one soon. This just fell in, man. We came back from our walk. It was 12 o'clock. I sat down, put it in the chat, said we're going long SOXL here. Came into VWAP. We're waiting all day for VWAP retracements. Comes into VWAP, stand there and take it. Scanners, it's on there. That SOXL there, 1/3 for 30 cents, 1/3 for 40 cents. And right now we're another $1 plus in the money here. So just right now we're holding $7 in the money on these names. I feel like we want to still stay long. The market does not look like it's giving any of this up.
Well, the market's certainly not as strong as the chip names. You said no one wants to be short these. I was talking with a trader who's been trading for a long time, and one of the things he pointed out, which is very true, we don't necessarily say this enough, is the notional volume right now is somewhere in the order of 27 billion on NVIDIA. Like, who could short this anyways? That would make a dent. If that's what it's doing at 2 o'clock, then you know, what's the other side of the trade supposed to be? Like, this is not something which is doing an amount of volume where you're going to be able to put some kind of a dent if you're like a big fund or something like that. So NVIDIA could always wish you held more. I actually liked the breakout more than I liked the dip into the first level. So I had my zone of support, which is closer to the 123. We did get a bounce off the front end of it. We took that trade into the top, tried the breakout 3 times on the break, and none of them were any good when I had them. So I was out when it lost VWAP on NVIDIA. So I'm red on it for the first time in a bit, but at the end of the day, this one is an absolute rocket ship. There's a distinction, however, between these guys and AMD, which had the ZT acquisition, I think it was.
Yeah,
ZT or, yeah, anyways, over the weekend, whatever it might be. So as you're up 3%, AMD's up 3%. Like, it's not like it's having a bad day. But the market's continuing to go higher, and this can't seem to get past 154. I said I like the 50 period for shorts on AMD. It never quite got to that price, so I was being a little bit patient with it. But if we continue to run highs over and over again, and AMD never catches up, this 154 might just be a good spot. You got the 50 and the 200 as resistance on this thing. And it just cannot seem to rise much further than this. So I'm not saying this one is never going to break 154, but the futures make a turn, and this is under 154. This afternoon, at least, AMD would be a short, just because it's relatively weak right now.
No real catalyst today for SoFi, but there was this one from last week. Soros Fund Management disclosing in their Q2 13F that they added about 300,000 shares of SoFi, and it could really here be an interest rate story. We saw on the last report their net interest income was actually down quarter over quarter. That's because they're paying out a little bit more money for those who are holding cash than they are receiving from the interest that's being paid on the margin. So we'll have to keep an eye out with their next report to see if that doesn't flip back and forth. But great day for SoFi today, guys, trading at the highs.
Thanks for that call out there, Sharif. Look, I was actually looking at the account today. I was like, hey, how many shares do I have? What are we doing with SoFi right now? Because it is a nice move. And I did see some talk there on the chat about SoFi and was thinking, let's have a quick look. And we keep on talking about some bank strength. We saw that New Holdings last week and you come out with a nice report. And before I go on and on, yeah, okay, so still holding. I want to make sure. By the way, this NVIDIA is now $5.25 in the money. SOXL is now $1.24 in the money. There's absolutely nothing stopping these names. But look at New Holdings. Again, I always, and without, I know there's going to be school debt loan revisions and things like that have been coming through. And regardless of, I think it doesn't matter, sort of already been passed. But definitely election-based issues on some of the SoFi, I guess, price. We'll see if that can continue to go higher, though. I always feel like $8 is that wall that we have to break through. And until we get anywhere near that, which we sort of are now, $7.50, I'm actually waiting to put on the sticky note breakout through $8. But even if I get that on, I still do worry about this $8.40, $8.50 area. I don't really understand enough about this name to be like, this is a screaming buy. It's kind of like when Palantir goes down or Uber or DraftKings, I can kind of understand what their customer base is and how to get there. But like, other than that wonderful stadium that they have in Los Angeles, I don't know that much about SoFi. And so for me, on a macro level, I'll kind of stay away. But on just looking at it here, this name needs to be bought, right? This almost looks like something that I've ignored foolishly for the last couple of days. I mean, you break above the $7, hold it. Don't get really too many dip buy opportunities there. So I feel like this over the last little while, if you can just hold the 50-period moving average right now, that's going to be great. So down to 710 and hold. We already got some protection there. 7 looks like a great long for me on SoFi. Don't know if there's anything in it today, but that's $7 right there. That came in early. So we'll see if we get a dip buy opportunity there into SoFi. I mean, I just reading what you guys are saying. What's up, Dan Emmons? Been a long time. I was giving you some credit this morning, by the way. If you weren't watching, then Coffee Trader here saying that NVIDIA has virtually no red candles today. And yeah, I was saying it under my breath, and you can probably hear it because these are live mics, but I'm just like, geez, there's absolutely no stopping this trade. Like, I looked over and $5 in the money. I mean, that stuff doesn't come lightly, as you can see. Very rare that any of us have these kind of trades on. But there it goes, man. So NVIDIA $5 in SOXL. SOXL is actually just as impressive in my opinion. I mean, we were able to buy that at VWAP right there. We just stayed away from them instead of NVIDIA. We already long it. And that name just continues to pump higher as well. So these chip names really keeping it going. And we did something off that we haven't done lately in the midday show here. We've kind of stayed away. We hadn't put anything on in the midday other than those two positions. We still have our Roblox on, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, so far so good there for SoFi today and some of the banks. This is such a good day, man. I didn't trade that much in the afternoon, so we're still really strong here.
Yes, sir. And you know what? Actually, you mentioned the banks there. JPM has an amazing looking chart. Yeah. And I want to I didn't even realize this, and I don't really have much to add when it comes to SoFi, but look at the chart of JP Morgan in the last, everything has been up in a general sense since we had that Monday, but this has just been steady Eddie right into 52-week highs. It's a bit of a triple top. I don't know how concerned I am that things like this are in triple tops. I was concerned by a triple top in Meta recently, and thankfully took some profit out on that one when it got to those highs. And this looks almost similar, but not a heck of a lot to look at for SoFi. The thing about it is, this stock, like Sean said, it just desperately needs to break $8. It's all well and good to hold lows, but if you don't make any new highs, then there's just not much you can sink your teeth into. Unless you're just swing trading this every time it gets to $6.50 and taking 20% when other things are going more, there's not much else to do. I'm always looking for something like this to hold a 200 period moving average or break out a significant high. That is what I want to have happen here on SoFi. So, alert set when we have an 8 handle on this bad boy.
Interesting, kind of a backhanded upgrade today by Moffett-Nathanson for Apple. I was able to watch the analyst on CNBC comment about why he had a $211 price target given the current price. And they're concerned, guys. They're concerned about this antitrust push by the government. They think that it could affect Apple's balance sheet vis-a-vis the $20 billion that's paid by Google for the default search, as well as the iPhone monopoly, or the smartphone monopoly, I should say, all in question there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But there was this headline as well. We saw earlier in the year, this year or late last year, that Apple renewed their deal with Qualcomm for the modem CPU, and they renewed it because they're looking at building it in-house as they did previously with the M chip. So keeping an eye on Apple, down though 0.75%.
I was actually debating right now getting out of this NVIDIA. It's up to 129, 5 and change in the money. Debating getting out of that one. Anybody that downgrades Apple is just doing it because they want to buy shares lower, so that's fine. That makes sense to me. We'll see here. I was not on the radar today because, again, we're going to go strength versus weakness and stay in the pocket and trade what we know. Today, Apple was weak. We were looking for strong names. So Apple's not even on the watch today for me. It's not on the sticky note. It's nowhere. But at the same time, doesn't mean it should be ignored. I mean, that 223 area, again, comes into play. And I was talking to Patrick and some of the traders behind us there during lunchtime. And, it was the same conviction that I had in NVIDIA, that we just didn't get a chance to have it in Apple because I wasn't trying to go long on it. But it's the same kind of levels, this 223 area. I mean, I would think that this is a great area to be long. We'll have to look at that tomorrow or the next day or even today if it does fall back in a little here. So I like Apple. Ahead of this super cycle, if it's true, which I guess it is, you're going to need a 15 Pro or a 16 to get all the new features. Guess what? Everyone's going to have a 15 Pro or a 16. So, that is just what it is right now for Apple. The strong survive, and they are by far the strongest. All of their products keep on ticking. Apple TV is there now. All their storage, the cloud, everything that they've been doing there. I haven't heard anything about the headset. That's probably going to be a flop. We'll wait to hear more about that in the upcoming quarters right now. But their buds, everything is ticking along. Their watches. It just keeps on going. Everything's growing. Their iPad segment even grew last report there, which is a surprise to me. But I guess with back to school coming, they're going to sell more iPads this next quarter too. So, look, I'm excited for Apple moving forward. Like to see new highs. That's another one that's still a couple percentage points away from all-time highs. So we'll see what's going on.
That said, after you've bought your new Apple upgrade, let's just say, if you got some idle cash laying around that you're looking to maximize, for Canadian users, enjoy 6% annual on cash balances of up to $10K for 60 days, along with a 2-month commission-free from Moomoo. You can also earn up to $2,300 in cash rewards when you transfer your portfolio. Both rewards can be enjoyed at the same time. With Moomoo, you'll gain access to comprehensive data on stocks, options, and ETFs. Plus, take advantage of algo trading, allowing you to create, backtest, and execute your own strategies. Set up instant alerts to trade on your own signals, helping you take your trading game to the next level. Thank you, Moomoo, for sponsoring this portion of the show. And when we talk about a stock and you like a level, but it's not there, you don't know if it's going to trade at that price, having that alert or that plan of action can be all of the difference. Because if you just simply set up, and again, everything's hindsight, if you just set up 223 alert, Apple, this was Friday's wick bottom at the open. This was today's wick bottom just after 10 o'clock on Apple. Not doing much off of VWAP here. And I don't wonder if 225 is going to start to be a bit of a problem for these bad boys. It's been a strong move for them. This looks like a little temp reverse that if 223 doesn't hold, you could be pulling back into the 220 level. And I know I'm going to like that one. So this afternoon, if we can't break this out up at 225, it looks like good resistance as the market's going higher. This has not been a strong stock today. And if it hasn't been a strong stock and we do any kind of range-bound action, then fading off resistance on stocks that aren't strong on the day is the plan of action going into the close.
No catalyst today or real headline today for Starbucks, but we got that huge headline last week that they were letting go of the current CEO with the incumbent coming in, Nickel. He's very much got this market very bullish on Starbucks. There was this headline from Friday talking about unusual options activity, and this is a very one-sided number. 66% of the contracts being bought were bullish, with only 13% here as bearish. Not sure how that math jives, guys, but that's what the article says.
I missed the math on that one. So, yeah,
I mean,
you know what? The thing about Starbucks is, man, it just keeps on.
Like, it's just chilling in the
Just
top.
keeps on going, and now I feel like it's going to break. I've already talked about this 92. I've been wanting to go short. I thought this was a big move to the upside. The last couple of days we were written down 96s. First of all, it was 97s, then it was 96s, then it was 95s, and we're really not able to get any of those. And then today, it's just kind of been all the way to the downside. So I really like a VWAP retracement. I think adding Brian Nickel, paying the guy $115 million straight up, and then $100 million a year for the next 5 years seems to be a lot. But again, you know, they added $20+ billion in market cap. Nice move to the upside right now. Now we'll see about a fade. I feel like it's going to do that. The 200 period might be a spot where you want to buy some Starbucks, but for right now, I got bigger fish to fry. Probably thinking about some of this NVIDIA. It looks like it wants to break the 50 period for the first time since this afternoon. So this could be a little area of concern for me. 128.50 for NVIDIA. I mean, Neil, you might just have to take $5.
I think you got, well, you don't have to, but it looks like a good level. As far as trailing things out, everyone, as long as you have a strategy, you like that 50 period, you like a 9, you like a 21, you got to have somewhere that you want to grab it out. The only difference on Starbucks, I'll say, is I like this area here underneath 91.5 for a bit of a flat bottom break on Starbucks. All it's done is consolidate off the top with the same resistance. Anything at and above $95 since they had this announcement has been a problem for the stock in terms of buyers. There's just no buying out and about above $95. That happened again today. So at some point, you either get to 95 and hold above it, or we're going gap hunting on Starbucks. The other one adjacent to this, which, you know, at least adjacent, I say because it did a bit of a sympathy move. Nike did a sympathy move with regards to Starbucks and then trended higher as well. The only difference and why I like this a little bit better was just look at how it responded. So after its gap up, broke out the next day and still putting in some higher lows. It's holding on to Friday's close price without actually taking out the top. So Nike, in juxtaposed to Starbucks, is giving you a nice consolidation with a higher end break. This is $84 up top exactly, which is the current high, and then Friday's high on Nike. It's a decent chance that you could get a double top breakout this week. Got to hold on to VWAP for something crazy to happen here today. But that one looks a little bit more bearish to me when I pull up the 15-minute, and they both had a very similar, like it was just a rip your face off rally early, and they were similar in the aftermarket. Then a little bit of a divergence here between Nike and Starbucks. And Nike has their own troubles. They're not the same thing, but definitely getting some sympathy with that Starbucks move. I like an 84 break this week on Nike. Doesn't mean it's going to happen today.
All right. Yeah, thanks for all of that, everybody. I did put my stop order in now for NVIDIA in and around 128.50 if we break. But, I mean, you're starting to go back up to the upside, so let's just hold on to that. Our SOXL, maybe something very, very similar here, breaking through $40.20. Let's do that right now. This SOXL flattened. I mean, you can see where we're long, 39.07. Our flatten was 89s. So 17 cents worth of risk for $1.30 right now. So let's go $40.19 as the stop order on that. Found my pen, by the way. Oh yeah, we have to send in some of our lunch numbers in case we're taking any vacays coming up soon.
What? Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, we got the new caterer. Today, our current caterer is on vacation, so this, I guess one of his friends or someone else is doing it, so it's pretty interesting there so far. Okay. All right, so just looking here. All right, so SOXL is there. Oh, yeah. Roblox. I mean, off of $40. Again, another name here. If you're wondering, like, where do we think about these names? I mean, sometimes I wonder myself, like, what am I even doing? But it's on the sticky note, and I think I've closed the sticky note. No, I haven't. It's right here. Today, there it is, man. Fubo at 160. We could have a quick look at that. I don't think it's gone back down there. The Palantir dip buy, I mean, has been so incredible. We'll talk about what we're doing now as we're short. But there's the Google long, again, another top name. There's the Roblox long at 40, and there's the NVIDIA long at 124 support. So if you want very basic trade ideas that I'll take, go join me every single day on the Sticky Note at Trader TV. Sean, you can find those every day there. But we're lucky enough to get Roblox again. We're sort of unlucky that I was waiting at 65s. It only gets to 70s, but I was going to give it to 50. Breaking back down below here on Roblox. So if we had lost anything, I was sort of just going to use this 50 area, which was the top on Friday, or not Friday, like last week, 39.50, before we broke up and we stayed above there the whole time. So a little bit of a risky position there, but that's why we were able to get out as it started to go back up, because even though we're long at 70s, we started to get more than 1-to-1 breaking to the upside. Now, I don't really look at that sort of a ratio thing. I'm trying to play like more momentum and see where we can go with it, but it seems to be working out, needless to say. But there goes Roblox, a couple outs at the same levels, man, $40.25. Let's see if it can get a little bit higher. I don't have any offers out because I think we could break the high of the day and even go green today. So maybe Roblox up near 40.50 for sure, 40.60, just for those of you that are trading this and trading maybe the way I am. This is support and resistance at $40.50. So definitely a look there on where we should be sitting. So let's do that. Let's sit in around here on Roblox, $40.50. If we're able to get it, great. We'll dump out a sum and then reassess that trade. And then Palantir, we wrote down, played dips. And again, I was talking to the traders before, and I said, the one thing that we had got burned on, and we always talk about it, a lot of traders don't actually do this. They actually will still trade similar styles that hasn't been profitable for a while. For me on Palantir, I learned last week twice that basically trying to break these stocks out was tough for me, which is why I don't have the Tesla 220 break. And we talked about that live as it was happening, and 220 break was fantastic. I wanted to play dips. So today, Palantir, for some reason, falls right into $32 is what we listed. I couldn't even believe this right off the open when we got long down here. It was starting to open the day at 32.80s. And all of a sudden, we get 32.10s. Then we get some out. Then it drops in, and we even get lower than that. And we're sitting there against 75 was our out. So we take a 90, and then we get some out at 32.50. So again, there's 40 cents right there on a 20-cent hold. And then it came back up, and then I thought, this is looking a little bit weaker. So what we've actually done is we were going short here and able to capture a decent percentage short, but it looks like now, if we start to go too much higher than where we are here into this 50, 60 area, we've already broken above. I'm thinking we need to get out. So we are trying to hold a little short on this Palantir, and I'm waiting for 40s to break. If 40s break, we'll get out of this one. We're out 8 cents right now on PLTR. Just thought there was going to be a retracement in the market. Obviously, there hasn't been, and holding NVIDIA and stock sales paid off and Roblox. But this Palantir looks like it wants to tap me out. So we might lose this 7-8 cents here on Palantir on this play that has not reversed. There he is. So we're out.
It's a strong stock.
It's very, very strong. I mean, it's only up 1%. It's not that strong, but
well, yeah.
enough.
Actually, what's interesting is as strong as the day has been, like the NASDAQ, it's outpacing the NASDAQ, which is only 2/3% to the upside. It just feels like it's stronger. Most of that's because NVIDIA is doing so well. I am short Fubo now. I know this morning was only long Fubo. I keep saying Fubu. Was only long Fubo the entirety of the morning show. I just wanted to explain why I'm short now. So we took the breakout at 185. It never gave you the dip into prior support. All it did is take out that top and then support the resistance level, which was the pre-market high. So we missed this dip in here. So that was the first opportunity, I guess, after the breakout. And then the second one I got, it then stopped out underneath that support level. I reversed short initially, but there was no confirmation there. And then it broke down, made another leg down. That's the confirmation. So I went short here at the 80. I got 80 halves there, like that's midpoint. And now we're trending back into the opening bottom. I got a couple of bids out in front of it, but if it takes out this opening range low, I'd look for this 172-ish to get. If it gets rinsed there, I think it's headed back to that high that we're interested in, which was those mid 160s. From Friday. So I am short this. If it breaks back about above 182, I would simply get out. But you're right about AMD here. Here it comes. AMD is about to test 154 for a breakout. At the same time, it's probably going to get there before Apple gets to 225. Apple's at 224.65. So I mean, percentage-wise, I suppose they're about just as close to the even dollars as each other. The way AMD's going, it feels like it might get there first. So AMD 154 is the current high is actually 08. So technically, a fresh high break would be like 154.10 on AMD. So it's not exactly $154. It's that wick up there. But AMD certainly churning up to the upside. When it gets there, we'll let you guys know. Name the gain. Walmart, please. Walmart. That's something like Walmart was a great earnings play, no question about it. And then today just ran into, here it is, just did something. It's not exactly the same as Starbucks, but it's kind of the same thing. Like it just kind of ran into a wall where it was just doing nothing, holding out after those earnings gains, big gap up, doing nothing kind of sideways for a couple of days. And today looked like it wanted to break out of that range, double tapped 74 bucks, and now it just doesn't want to move. So this is now the third time that it goes into an afternoon price range and stops moving whatsoever. And it's been resistance each time, 73.5 and now the 74. I think this is you're just in a consolidation area for Walmart. So when it hits one of those, it can be worth it if you have like a resistance top that gets made in the morning. Seems like it's just usually a good short when that comes back in the early afternoon or right around lunchtime. A little bit top heavy up here on Walmart. Still love the stock. I think it's fine in the long term, doing all kinds of good stuff, but unfortunately just can't seem to get out of that earnings range. Very similar to what we saw with that gap up and the hold on Starbucks after the CEO change. Just you're leveling off a little bit, and when that's happening, it's just accumulation until support breaks.
There on Walmart. I mean, I really like that stock as well. Walmart's probably the best in the retail space besides Amazon, but we'll wait to see what happens there. Walmart might produce Amazon in the next 6 months anyways. Okay, so here we go. NVIDIA, I just want to say we've changed our stop now. I mean, we were in this so long ago, you can't even see it from here from 125.50. That's $4. And you zoom back out here, and there it is, 124. We're long sub 124. We actually have the low of the day print today a couple times. So we'll just wait and just follow up the 50-period moving average. So I just topped it out at 70. I mean, you could almost do a trailing average if you wanted to and just keep saying, like, you know what, 40 cents. This is just going to keep on riding 40 cents basically all the way up unless there's a huge move. But for right now, it's at 128.80. I'm still going to give it down to 70 just because. So we'll wait to see if that one wants to come through. I mean, what was even a more beautiful trade might have been this SOXL trade right off VWAP, but we need to look for some more. So what I try to do here is just try to scan. So like here's like a 5-minute chart, and I just kind of go through like some of the watch lists that I have. So like here's Meta, here's Mara. And just trying to like figure out if there's anything, you know, that looks somewhat appetizing here. I mean, Apple, again, trying to go up to 225 there, the 200-period moving average. That would be pretty nice if we can get a short in there for Apple, as Apple's still down 0.5 right now as we speak. Starbucks is maybe the name to short. That just keeps on moving down, trying to make its way back to VWAP there at 93. Maybe there's something there as well, as that keeps on going one way there. These are e-signal charts. AMD, we already sort of looked at that. You know, a big name was Affirm. I mean, look at AMD right there. You want to talk about VWAP play? The more and more I look at all this stuff, it really is like just keep trading as simple as possible. I don't even think, I mean, I say this, but it's clearly it's not that it's that easy, but trading can be pretty simple if you make it that way. And I think the more you simplify trading, the easier your life will be and the more relaxed it'll be. And I think that's like a big difference for myself, is not trying to go back and forth. Like we've traded 5 names, we're gonna go 5 for 5. You know, I feel like that's what's really changed for me. Focusing on, actually we added SOXL, we'll go 6 for 6. And that's really what's been the big difference for me, is being able to change into a style of trading that is more comfortable and much more focused and much more specific, which is why we're sticking really with our guns here on these trades and, you know, making new levels now for ourselves in our trading. So I really feel happy to be doing that. And I'll probably still look for the same names here, but that's the kind of process that I'm going through, trying to find different names, what might we like, what we don't like, and then maximizing those opportunities. So yeah, again, man, thanks for everybody for watching and taking this journey with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Bonkzilla, whatever works, man. Like that's exactly true. You know, and ultimately you've got to stick to, you like a particular setup. Some traders only like breakouts. And I've seen traders who are like, they'll take every great breakout that they like, but they're not going to be sitting there dip buying. And I think, I like to trade things that set up in a way where I know the trade that I'm looking to make. And that way it's boring in a sense that you know what you're going to do when it gets there. And if it works, there it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So as we get into this 154 on AMD, I just want to quickly, I want to get to Viking Therapeutics in a second. It's making a bit of a move to the upside, VK TX. But AMD is going to get to this 154. The 50 period on the daily is like 155. But as it runs this, as it attempts this top, I'm just looking for a false break of 154 for a reversion play here on AMD. Close to the level we liked. I like 55 a little bit better for a short, but the top has been that 54. Viking Therapeutics is kind of going a little bit nuts up top here. Big volume spike about 40 minutes ago, or 20 minutes ago, I should say. It was already breaking the highs. Now you're extended up 12% on Viking. I'm zooming out so that you can see this on VKTX. Like, it's got this channel of lower highs that it's going to attempt to break out, and it would need to get up to the mid 60s, like maybe 67 or 68, if it were to take out that top. So Viking, strong move. Just look at this one on the higher time frame and note that you've got some overhead resistance that it's going to have to chew its way through. So VKTX making some power moves going into the afternoon here. Sometimes those are the stocks they're going to go. At this moment, Apple's still not even at 225. We figured AMD was going to get here first, and that ends up being true. Starting to base off of this 154 level already. Bit of a curl here happening on AMD.
All right, what's up to everybody? Coming through one more time. Okay, let's just keep on going, I guess. I put the stop in right here for 128.79. We'll ring the register here on NVIDIA and just keep on going. And I agree with someone who said that on there about have multiple ways to trade. And I think that's exactly what we do. We talk about all those different styles of trade that we have every single day. I mean, the number two, it's number one P&L on all the shows is going to be NVIDIA. I think we talked about that. Then the next one is this ALZN. And I mean, I was the only one that traded this today, I think. I don't know if they did. But you could see here, breaking out on that pre-market high. So today, my best trade has been NVIDIA dip buying. The second best trade here today, P&L-wise, is a breakout. So I do think you have to have double the opportunities, double the abilities, and more things you can look at, the better it is for anybody. So I think that's important. And I think that's why if you hit the like and subscribe in our chat right now, you'll find out that there's so many good ideas in our chat all the time. And make sure that you are part of our team. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and stay with us as we go. Because this trade here, man, we were long at $8 break. That out right there is $13.50. Then we got out when we broke the 50 period or whatever it was at $11 on the way back. So again, putting up numbers right here on ALZN today, a completely different style than we're used to. But, that doesn't stop me from doing what we're doing right now. Lots of experience and one of the head traders here at Real Trading. So hopefully I'll be able to help you out and answer all your questions as we go. All right, so that's just another style right there. We'll still continue to trade. I've added SOXL into the repertoire as well as part of a trade idea that I like and something that I like to trade with. SOXL, triple Qs, things like that. The TQQ, which of course these are 2 times levered instruments, just feel like they trade basically the same as them all, except for I get an opportunity, honestly, just to use as many shares as I want and get these bigger moves when they come through. So I really prefer this, and it's, again, made a big difference to the P&L, right? So we'll put a stop in here, same way. If we're going to break below these 50-period moving averages, let's just get out. This was a trade that had a 17-cent stop associated with it and is now in the money $1.45. So that sounds... Neil knows math better than me, but $1.45 divided by 17 is whatever risk you have right now in here. Put an 8 or something on that, and that's where you go. So 8 to 1, that's decent. So we have about the right amount of shares left on this small piece.
8.424.
There you go. So, that's what I'm saying. Obviously, you could see, we know the rough math, but where it really matters.
I made up the last 2 digits. It's about 8.4, but it's
8.4. Yeah, that would have been my guess as well. So good one right there as we go. There it is, man. SOXL. People say I was actually talking with my brother-in-law, and it's math and all that. School is very, very important. Don't get me wrong, but it's the things that you learn and how to apply it to whatever you're doing. And I mean, right now we're applying real world math to trades. And I'm sure that you guys can all see sort of the damage that we're putting up here on the board. And I do appreciate all the talk there in the chat. I mean, you know, it's let's just keep on going. We might be one of the best, but we can have bad days, you know, just hasn't been a while for that, knock on wood. We'll see if we could just keep on going and keep on doing what we're doing. We'll prove to you guys every single day why we're in this seat.
Yeah, that's what's up. And look, ultimately, I see a lot of people in the chat asking about individual questions, individual stocks. Like, we haven't looked at or traded everything. I was asked what the news is on VKTX. I double checked. I don't have anything for it on my Benzinga. There might be some stuff going on social media. I'll keep looking out for it. I just saw the volumes, a clear volume spike on stock. There's no question about it, and it's definitely going a lot higher. But I'm just not seeing anything when I pulled it up. So there could be a story. I'm sure there is one based on the way that it's trading, but nothing that I can see. And Adara just mentioned that as well. So very quickly here, pretty simple with AMD. It tagged 159, 153, like 96 or 97 is a local high. If it breaks the top, I'm out. Wait for it to make a top, get short, out if it breaks the top. It's that simple. Like, get in, have an idea, knowing exactly where your out is going to be. And you know, we say this all the time. Like, if you enter a trade, but before you get in, there is no out or what's wrong, or maybe you're holding it all day, I have no idea, then you don't have that entire process. So if it breaks out the high, I'm just going to jump out of it and look for the next opportunity. Might be Apple, certainly a possibility. I do like that Viking that's moving around a little bit, but I'd like to see that one calm down. I'd rather not trade something blind, and I feel as if there has to be news with VKTX. And maybe there is nothing, but it's not often you see this kind of a volume spike with this kind of a move, and there is nothing going on, right? There seems to be something there. Yannick's asking about Upstart in our chat, UPST on a 40 break. Haven't really looked at Upstart in here today, but I'm looking for things that are moving. I have scanners up. I have a halt scanner. I've got like a high of day Momo scanner. I think that's what I call it on Trade Ideas. That's trying to show me things that are moving and breaking out high. So Upstart up 9% on a 40 break, certainly popping off a lot of radars. It's not a ton of volume up here, which is one thing that in the afternoon, like, I want to see a breakout of a high like this with accompanying volume. And right now, I'm just not seeing it happen yet. The volume starts to pick up. I'd like this trade a little bit better for a breakout. Looking pretty solid. It's got that short float, all the good stuff that you want from it, but not a ton of volume here on Upstart. And that's one of the prerequisites for me in an afternoon breakout trade. If it's not doing relative volume, then I'd rather look for a dip buy. When everyone else gets rinsed on a top, I'd like to buy a dip in here at like 39.8 or like a 39.7 and then be long going into the move as opposed to just trying to take out that top. So try to keep it simple. You'll never see me say, hey, I like the short off a stock here and I'm out there, and then you don't see me get out through that high. So AMD's trying to go, but I would still venture it's not nearly as strong as the rest of the market, which currently is like booming it out to the top. And this is kind of just now breaking into these highs. And there's overhead resistance at 155. But I'm either shorting it at this high or I'm waiting for 155 bucks. My plan this morning was 155. I'll take one swipe at 154 and then move on to the next. I like your Upstart idea. I like the stock. I just need to see some more volume if you're going to have anything off this high. That isn't a dip buy.
All right, we addressed this issue before. As you know, I'm long $6 in the money, NVIDIA, almost $2 in SOXL. So I can go long the chip names, Neil can go short the chip names. That's the whole point, is that you have your outs. And you know, often it will be a zero-sum game in this market, but that's why we're long and short at different spots. So again, Rivian Millionaire, I mean, you want me to, I'll just spend the money for where we're at on the day. I mean, I don't need to sell anything. There it is for you, Rivian Millionaire right now. I mean, we're not up $1 million today, but we're up, and we're up pretty decently again here today, my best day of the month here. And it was actually, we've added to it since 11 o'clock, but not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, some of these positions have sort of been the same. I mean, if you want to know why we've got this sort of feel today, I mean, look at this Roblox trade right now. It's 70 cents in the money. You know, I was actually waiting above 50. I'm trying to get it at the high this day. I think my kids just got some more Robux there the last day, so I need to make a little bit more to pay off for this one. $40.54 is where we're sitting at the high. We're actually sitting at the day's high. See if we can grab that. So a few more pennies higher on that one, we'll do it. It's really too bad, but there you go. Even though we can be, I mean, we could talk about being disciplined and have our outs and things like that. Well, there's no better example right here. I mean, all I could do every day is prove to you what kind of a trader I am, a disciplined one and one that will put up numbers at the same time. You could be both. That's what you're supposed to be. I mean, right there's me getting out of Google. We're not averaging in all the way down here. We have our trades. We have our ideas. Now Google, of course, is at the high of the day. Was Google on here as our #1 trade idea to go long at 164? Yes. Is the bottom of the day 164.10? Yes. Would that now be $2 in the money? Yes. But we don't have it. Why? Because it broke this little pre-market level that I was a little nervous about at 164.50. So we could have given this 20 more cents. But again, without having that crystal ball, very hard to understand that a half hour later, you'd find the bottom. So we trade what we see, and so far, we see pretty good on a lot of these names. So we're going to still stay with what we're doing. SOX L rate here just continues to rip higher. Man, do we have this trade as well. Our stop was at $40 right now. I'm going to change it, $40.34. So as we continue to go higher, so does the 50-period moving average. So this is $40. And again, it's just like this was a 17-cent. Neil did the math, man, 8.4, yada, yada. So right now, we're probably close to 9 right now on the risk to reward, and we still have a third of this. So, I mean, if anybody out there is trading with me, this has been a good one here. And we actually talked with an old trader friend of ours that was here and switching over to the options game. He actually kind of similar advices, you know, like, hey, man, I'm doing kind of this stuff that we're doing right here every single day. And again, he sees what I'm doing, and, you know, we talk about real, see real. He's like, dude, maybe options is something. And I'm just like, hey, man, I mean, we're going to trade on the platform that we have, and I'm really happy to be here with real trading. The amount of buying power and everything like that that we're able to put through these trades is quite good. So we'll stay here. We'll hope that we'll get options pretty soon, and stay tuned with us as we will be having that real soon, some of those updates. I want to update NVIDIA quickly again because, you know, these are trades that we're in. There's only an hour and a bit left. So NVIDIA right now has tempted fate a couple times. We hadn't changed our stop, so our stop was still here breaking through 80s. So the lowest it got, see, and again, this is sometimes you get lucky, like it went to 83. So if it just goes down 4 more pennies, we're stopped out on a break of 80. It doesn't happen, and now we're like, oh, now we got this big runner. So a lot of trading, just like in life, is about who you know, where you're at, the places and time that you're there, kind of like real estate. So for trading, it's very, very similar. We're just lucky that we didn't force random cents lower. So on lack of randomness, we'll just continue to use the 50-period moving average. And that right now is 128.95. So for this one, 128.89. You guys can all see it's clear as day. We hit enter, and Neil, we will lock in a $5 winner right now on NVIDIA. So thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Neil, for all the support.
That's what it's all about. And to your point about the options, you know, we get questions about that a lot. And you have to remember, on a prop floor, you're trading firm capital, right? So you have a daily loss limit, all that kind of stuff. So when you're trading with buying power that's deployed only for day trades intraday, you're likely to be able to take different styles of position than the average retail trader, where what you'd want to leverage up for a move is going to be a bit different. You might want to take options there. Well, we're just getting some movement. So you have it up already, right? Like you heard the same thing just now on
I'm going to short a US.
Yeah, US. When we're talking, it's hard for me to hear the Benzinga exactly what the story was on US Steel. So hopefully Derek can get it to us.
I already know what it is.
You hear it? You heard it? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, it was that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will block the Nippon sale if and when he gets elected. So it's still going on right now. So he's just at a I guess a convention or speaking or what do they call those?
I think it's a rally.
Rally.
Yeah.
That must
because the Dems are having their convention.
Right, so he's probably doing all that kind of jazz right now. So shout out to anybody listening on the Benzinga Pro platform as well. And yeah, so that's just what that is now. So the way I look at it, and I got in trouble from you guys in the chat the other day, when I was saying about how who's going to win the election or not, I have no freaking idea. I wish I did. But I was just looking at the betting sites, and it had flipped over to Kamala, right? And so when she becomes, I'm asking the 8 ball, when Kamala gets the favorite, possibly, which is what it was on the betting site, that's where I flipped over and said, okay, it's looking like the market, and the betting market, not the stock market, it has flipped over to that side right now. So if that's the case, and she somehow wins or loses, I have no idea, then this deal apparently will be front and center. So if that's the case, and it's about 50-50, I feel like no matter what the betting market says, this election, and we're over here in Canada, so which our election period lasts about 3 weeks. So what I know about this would be that it's probably going to be a coin toss up until the night of the election, and most likely weeks and months after the election until everything is sorted out. So for me, I would think that money sitting in X here, which is U.S. Steel, awaiting a possible Republican ticket win there, would be bad for this stock. And I don't remember exactly. I mean, I guess this is the price. Like, is this where it was pre-buyout? Like, I mean, there's a huge jump up here from 30, 34, 35, you know, up to 50.
It was an earnings jump. It was around the mid-30s.
Mid-30s.
When it got announced.
So there's a little bit of risk in here. And if you want to take it,
well,
look,
the thing is,
we're just repeating what we heard on the news.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, when we get those types of news stories, there's a particular trade that I like, that I think a lot of traders usually like. If it's legitimately bad news, okay, so this is legitimately not good, then if you don't get the original move, this was a double bottom low at $40.50. If it pops back up and retests and shows resistance at previous support, try the short in there. So that's what I'm looking for. If it bounces off 40, it bounces off 40. The deal's like $55.
Right.
Okay, so it's not as if the market really, really is betting heavily that this deal is going to go through. Otherwise, why would it be trading at $40? Like, if you knew this deal was going to happen, we'd all be long U.S. Steel with everything we have at 42. Like, if I was 99% sure that this deal was going to go through, or anybody had that confidence, they'd be just like, in this market, they'd take that. So up at $42 is where people were selling this the last time. I'd be favoring shorts until we hear something otherwise. But if it breaks to 40.50, forget about it, and maybe wait for something along the lines of VWAP. But U.S. Steel, once again, catching more flack with this deal, which is ever increasingly unlikely, it seems, by the market to happen. Let's go to Adair.
This part of the show is brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Thank you very much there, and that's where you hear the U.S. Steel.
Yeah, actually, here it is. Here, let me just show it to you, just so we can do the same kind of promo here for Benzinga Pro. There it is, right here. President Trump vows to block Nippon Steel's acquisition of U.S. Steel, and there's also talk about nuclear power and things like that. So stocks that could be looked at right here. SMR is starting to go again. NewScale. This was a name that has been talked about recently as well. In the small modular reactor side of things, SMR appropriately named as well. So uranium's been really hit over the last little while. This is another ETF that I know a lot of us were excited about, and that's been really getting killed. I always talk to Michael about these names because this is one that he liked again as well up here, trying to break out, and it's really fallen on hard times right now. As I feel like there's some flies up in here, maybe there's not. On URA, it's actually really cool today, which is perfect, man. My daughter's at a week-long baseball camp, and it's outdoors, so as long as it doesn't rain, she'll be happy.
Flies are no problem.
She'll be happy with.
We had a wasp nest in our garage.
Wasps, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. We had some wasps. They show up in the backyard. I'm like, look, I'll buy some wasp traps just in case it's not that bad. You put them up. It turns out there was a big old nest in the garage. I'm like, okay, I'm on the phone to an exterminator. I'm like, there's absolutely no chance I can get rid of a wasp nest by myself. So you got to spray for those. It is what it is. But the great part is, like, if you see any more, they'll come back because they guarantee, right? So they got to do it for free. Bad news is a couple seem like they survive. So that guy might have to come back in there. But yeah, there's some things you want to have the professionals handle, in my humble opinion. I'm not messing around with wasps. no chance. I know there was someone in my neighborhood who had a story about doing it, and it probably went exactly as you would expect for that person.
Yeah, I've messed around with some wasps in my day for sure, and
Oh,
thankfully I've come out on top. But there was one that they buried into the concrete, and once they can get into there, then I was like, I kept on. So I just went to Home Depot, and you get the spray, and you line it up, and you just blast in there. But it was way too deep in. I was trying to fill it with foam and everything, and then they were digging out. So eventually I had to call, and it was repaired. Yeah, I don't really like spending too much money on those things either. But you know what? In safety of everything. The worst is when you get skunks and raccoons if they dig underneath your shed or your garage or something like that. That's bad because then they start to have families under there.
Oh, that happened to my neighbor.
It's just a nightmare. You want to get those out. And I saw even one day my neighbor, I was like, what are you even doing, bro? He had like a robin's nest or something, and the robin was just basically building the nest against his house in between his eaves trough and his fireplace chimney. And it was starting to build a nest, and he's up there with a hockey stick or something. Every time the thing puts something, I'm poking it away. I'm like, man, let the thing build a nest, And he goes, no, because the minute he starts building a nest, then it's going to mean there's the families coming there, and then it makes sense, right?
Yep.
And so he's like, go build it on my house or something, get it out of here. I don't know where it wound up going, but that was a good point. You don't want them to make a huge mess.
Like once it gets past a certain point, like it's like
gasoline. Yeah, see, that's the problem, blind leader. That is what I would do, is gasoline. And the thing about that is I'll blow up my whole house, which would be a problem. So, I mean, even there, like my barbecue is like, sometimes it's flaring up. Marissa's like, man, that thing is flaring up. I was like, I got this. Next thing I know, my eyebrows are charred off. But that's what being a homeowner is all about, is having some fun there. But
they're good problems to have at the end of the day, because they're regular.
Yeah, I hate problems.
No, I don't want look, man, there's way worse things out there that people deal with, right?
Okay, NVIDIA just came out.
You got crazy storms going on that my family in Antigua have to deal with. Trust me, you ain't got no hurricanes up here, ain't got no tornadoes. If the biggest problem I have this year is that we got a wasp nest, then I'm chilling. 4050 just came out here on U.S. Steel. So that was the previous low, consolidated. It did get down to 20s. Was able to get that, but if it's going to take out to 50, I want to wait for it to come back into VWAP for another trade. I feel like I don't remember the exact date it was, but the last time there was news like this on U.S. Steel, I feel like it fell a little more heavily. And this just not as heavy this time. The buying came right back in off the 40 level, and it's not really stopping. No. So we're going to be out of that. We'll see what happens. If it gets to VWAP, I don't feel like it should trade up on that news. So I think you can try and work it off a resistance. Fubo is at that low, so last bid out. If we break the low, I'm looking for that mid-160s. So this was the target for the dip buy. And if this morning or today in a general sense, I thought dip buy in the previous resistance on Fubo, then if it gets to that price, get out of short is the minimum. So I want to be out if this gets to 165. I might as well just get on the bid out there. It's almost power hour. We'll see what happens. But right now, the market just tagged 19.8. The NASDAQ did anyways. The ES goes to 19.8, and we can all, you probably forget about us all being rich. It just kind of breaks everything. But 19.8 just got tagged here on the NASDAQ. There isn't a red candle on this 60-minute until you go back into the morning. So it is very strong into these tops. Now try to short some weak things. U.S. Steel, I still want to give that a chance. If I'm not buying anything at the tops, then I'd like to take another shot at this if I can, either hold a consolidation under or goes right back into VWAP. But looking like it's at least trend down like Fubo is as we speak. Might be some mean reversion plays out there as well for trend trades. Just going to go back over and check AMD, where I can tell you, don't want to fight it. I can still want to try to short it up at 155, but I'm not holding the 153.8 all the way to that level. I can look for another entry. Bit of a topping tail candle here on AMD. So this could be the spot. Try and get it in again, and just again, risk about 25 pennies here. If I take it that for a 25-cent hit, I know that if it pulls back into 155, it'll be a good trade. If it pulls back into 153.5, it'll be a good trade, let alone VWAP, which doesn't feel like it's very likely this afternoon.
All right. Just looking around at more things to trade here, because we did get stopped out of our NVIDIA. And you want to talk about, again, being disciplined, right? We saw that stop out there for AMD. Here's a stop out for NVIDIA. This is a long one. It just came back in. It broke the 50-period moving average. So this one we will put on the board there, $5. Take the longs there, get out there. That's it, man. Finally breaks that 50-period moving average. Look, we could have got out right here when it broke the 50-period moving average, 127, and then just reloaded it. But part of it is the fact that we didn't have that many shares left. I often get excited when we have too many shares, as you guys know, and we just start to take it out rapidly for all these wins. And then you look back and it's like, womp womp. But this time we did hold. And the hold actually added I would say 20 or 30% more to this trade just by P&L wise, just by holding it alone and a small piece. So that meant a lot to be able to do that. So I'm happy to do that. We almost got my reload. I mean, if you guys can guess my reload spot, you'll win nothing because it just means that hopefully you've been paying attention. Right there, 60 was where we were at. That's a 50-period moving average. You know how high that got to, man? We're at 60s. It got to 57s. So that's too bad because now we would have had a winner or at least close to one. Right there on US Steel, which of course is X, and we do not have that on board right now. So hopefully this one does not continue to go up and comes back in. With that being said, my stop was going to be this little break there, so that's 80s basically. So if it does go back up there, we'll get out if it breaks 80s. We'll average that in at 60, as you heard. So that trade plus whatever we can get up here would be put me in around $40.50 so 30 to 40 cents worth of risk. So we definitely like to see this one break through 40 in order for it to make dollars. This one's a little foolish there because we got out of NVIDIA earlier. We did want to hold SOXL, which is okay. But we have a little bit more shares. We still have a third left of this trade, which we took off VWAP on this dip. So I was going to use the 50-period, which is now at 66. Where's my last out? 49s. Okay. So let's save ourselves by actually be smart and looking at this. So that's 60... Exactly 64s. All right, so $40 and because it's an ETF, let's just give it a little more room. $40.59. So 15 more cents rather than this. We will get out on a SOXL take. $1.70 in the money over there. Palantir took us out. I'm just going to look at some different names now. All the same names, right? Palantir now comes back into where we shorted it. We got out there at 40.35 was where we got in. Our out was at 41s. It has fallen back in, but so has a lot of these names. So no real surprise there. Let's just scan for bad names, right? In bad names, I mean weaker names on the day. Meta is down on the day. So this could be one right here that if we're going to look for something, we have a top right there. Definitely missed. 527, 528, let's call it right there. This one could be a good trade if we can get back up. There is the high of the day. Again, whenever I say that, obviously I can see that this is it, but there's that high that we can play off of 528. So that would be a level for me for Meta. So if that gets bumped up, let's keep our eyes on Meta. We'll put it up as on a side screen right now. And anything else that's relatively weak, maybe we'll look at that. But for me, out of all the Mag 7 names, it is that. And then Apple, which we've indicated a couple times, has been weak. But for me, I want to hold off on shorting Apple. Honestly, it's a nice move up. I feel like it's breaking, could break again. I'd rather short this up here, 226. So for me, Apple's a wee ways away on that short. So we'll just hold US Steel, SOXL, and Roblox for now.
Yeah, and get very close here. AMD is about to test the trend. So since it got to VWAP, this is not an all-day long trend. I'm not connecting dots from the morning. I like to parse it out like this. A lot of times, in the morning, you might draw a trend line like that, and when it breaks, you can have here. You might have this as a retracement trade. This actually worked in the VWAP. If you drew that really, really steep one, just allow it to finally get up, hold, and then break it, obviously. And when you broke it, it was acceleration to the downside. This is a more linear trend that it's on. So at this point, it would have to break back under 154. If that happens, it would be a break of trend there on AMD. Matt Carnes, Rocket Lab, and Coffee Trader's asking about ARM for you, Sean. I look at ARM every single day. There's a list of stocks that are on my iPad every single morning, whether or not I actually put a number down next to them or have anything that is interesting about them. I'll throw it in there if there's a plan. ARM today, when I pulled it up, I was like, I didn't really like anything for ARM when I sat down here. It felt like it was trading in no man's land. It also, and I remember this last week, that it just wasn't doing anything for the last couple of days when it felt it felt like it was like, why aren't we breaking out? Why aren't we stronger in ARM? Like ARM's not taking out highs the last 3 days the way it was, it's dipping back and then doing absolutely nothing. What's now noticeable on ARM is this high midweek, 130, close 130 support, close 130 support, sell 130 at the open, consolidate 130. Now you're dipping into this 130 level. So you do have a good price level to bounce off of. The day it can close in the higher end of 130, I think this is a breakout. But if this loses 130 this afternoon, I got to be thinking short on that bad boy if it's going to. Just before we go back, yeah, Fubo just came right back in. So we held on to that last 10%. Fubo on the New York, of course. It's so hilarious. Like the amount of times I'll just hit NASDAQ because it's 4 letters out of complete habit, but bouncing off the 170 and trying to take out the 180 where my stop is on Fubo. So if it breaks that, we'll wait for VWAP. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Kroger here. This company had KR here undergoing a bit of an issue here with the FTC challenging its merger with Albertsons. Now we have Kroger coming out here saying that they've now filed a motion to enjoin the FTC's administrative merger challenge, to trying to stop that challenge from happening, saying that the FTC is fighting to split the merger challenge into 2 tribunals, and they're prepared to defend this merger. Their federal court evidentiary hearings are set here for August 26th. So couple weeks here, we'll get some more updates, or I guess next week here, from this KR trial with regards to the Albertsons merger, but fighting right now the FTC with regards to that, trying to get this injunction here, guys.
And not a ton of action over there on Kroger off of that, but worth keeping an eye on, right? Like you can tell immediately, when you just like you see US Steel, like it moves, volume spike, all that good stuff. So you want to get there if you can. Saad saying you work for Kroger, can't speak too much about it, unfortunately. Don't get yourself in trouble, At the end of the day, it's never worth it. Although, when you're trading or when you're investing, an intimate knowledge of a company in a general sense, like how they make money, maybe it's in the same sector, can go a long way. And one of the most fortunate things that happened to me was when, and we were in a chat together actually, with myself, he was a high school buddy of ours. And remember, I was like, I'm looking for a place to dip by, and like Lemonade was the name of the stock.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I was just literally looking for a place that I wanted to buy this thing. It's like, coming up with technicals and reading reports and reading what other people are saying about it. And I had a conversation with my wife's boss, because she's in insurance.
Oh, right, yeah.
And they're like, the Lemonade's whole thing is the whole like AI, online, blah, blah, insurance made easy for everybody. It's a different business to crack into. And this dude was like the AI dude at this insurance company, a bigger one that they worked at. And when he was talking about like how difficult it is, I was like, yeah, I don't want to own this thing. I'm like, let them figure it out first. Let them make money first. There's no need to take that shot. And I immediately said, I'm not dip buying that stock, because I realized I like the concept, but I didn't really understand the challenges that they were going to have to go through to get where they wanted to go, and it was a good thing. So I love it when we get viewers who have intimate knowledge about things. Like I wish every now and then Obi he'll read a biopharma report and have a decent idea of whether that's a big deal or not, because he knows a little bit about the medicals. I find you're always just price action. If you have it in, you can use it to your advantage. I do think, but. Sometimes also invest in what you know can make a lot of sense. So AMD doesn't want to break the trend line. Bouncing off the trend, it was looking like it was about to turn. There's your topping tail candle. There's the pullback. There's the test of the trend line. Last time I shorted it off the high before it even had a chance to break the trend. This time I'm just going to let it break the trend. If it's not going to break this trend, then I don't need to be short unless it's at 155. One of two ways. Either it breaks the trend or it gets to the resistance spot. Otherwise, we just have to be very, very patient with it. Vignesh, Sond moving, S-O-N-D, Sonder holding. Oh, this is one of those ones. Yeah, Sonder, this is a nice mover. Very, very linear in the afternoon. When I say that, this is what I mean. Like, it's just nothing out of control except for like the morning when it had the big bounce into 6. Now you got this triple top and light volume for SOND. Still waiting for that. You got to be patient. Still waiting around for AMD to break that trend. If it does, I'm going to hit that short. Still looking for another opportunity in US Steel. But Sonder, Without the volume kicking up there, you're probably headed back into VWAP. As you can see, I'm on the offer of U.S. steel here, just wanting to get right back in. Doesn't seem to be a lot of buyers here.
Yeah, I'm kind of trapped here on what to do. We do have a new position alert, so we'll do that. We told you we'd find something else for you, so let's see if we did right now. SOXL definitely holding the bid right now. Look at SOXL bouncing again. Like, how lucky was that? We were pennies away again from being shut down on SOXL, but we did not get it. We were offering, remember, break of 60. That went to 63 right there and bounced. So pretty good on that one there on that hold. But here we go, new position alert. It's going to be Amazon. And I was looking for something that potentially fell back in a little bit too much. So the futures fell in there as well, bounced off to 50. Again, probably we should be trading. I know, don't at me. Probably should be trading the futures again because we could have bought right there on the 50 period. But at the end of the day, right now, this is what we're trying to do. We're going to go long here and see if this will work. SOXL is starting to go up, still up $2 in the money. We'll see if this works. I'm going to give this back, honestly, to VWAP and into here and breaking through 177. So a little bit lighter shares right now on the top end of this trade. And the reason why we're going to start it right here is don't love this trade. And sort of we were talking about when we want to put on risk and make sure that we're at the right spots and whatnot. But this one right into here, this is the 50 period on a 20-minute chart. So we'll try to respect that a little bit. And again, the reason why we're in this, just to show you, if you don't like, you don't have to. That's the top, that's the top. So I was sort of thinking about using this area now as support. But if it breaks, then I don't want to give up on this name because I think the futures could still go. But I'm down here 120, 177, 177 flat before we get punched out of Amazon. So looking for about a 50-cent winner here on AMZN with like at least, so I'm looking at our shares, I've at least double the amount waiting down here at VWAP. So if we can get that, we'll load back in right now into this. So yeah, man, so far so good here today. Just holding on to Amazon, Roblox, SOXL, and then, oh, yeah, U.S. Steel. Boring. And we talk about this sometimes too, where you get excited. You'll hear a news piece and you don't want to get that FOMO. So we'll wait on this one. It's X with Trump news. And that, again, was the fact that maybe former President Trump would abolish or whatever, not rubber stamp the deal with Nippon Steel there. So we'll see how that works out for this. And obviously the market's not going. Yeah, I know, Viking Therapeutic. What's up, Sad? I don't know what stock you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh, Viking?
Oh, no, I know what he's talking about. He said, what about, why did I just pick up that level? But maybe Amazon.
I mean, Viking's still at the high of the day. It's just, as I was saying, it's at a resistance spot on a trend line. This time of day, like buying the absolute highs on a stock it's gone 56 to 65, I just don't like it. So the next thing, come to the chart for a second if we can. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, the next usual thing is, does it give you a chance? Does it do what it was doing before? Pull back, hold a higher low, pull back, hold a higher low. This pullback, again, like you're seeing like a bit of a reversion, some consolidation, somewhere that you can get in, and then it takes out the top. That's what I look for on plays like that. And AMD, there's another topping tail candle, almost at that 155. Feels like it does want this 155 level. It's not a guarantee that this is going to get there, but the longer this holds, the trend line, the more likely we see the 155, and that's the spot we waited for this morning. Mike, Walter, any thoughts for Palo Alto earnings? My thing for Palo Alto is I want to hear them say something positive about any gain of market share or business. We've seen an uptick in customers since the CrowdStrike incident. I think if that's the case, Palo Alto, almost more so than whatever the numbers are going to be, that's going to be a boon for PanW. But if you don't break out here on the daily, like this is very binary for Palo Alto. There's a brick wall at $345 on the stock right now. So you either gap it and test the highs, or you might have to be real patient with this. So I think if there's anything along those lines of, hey, we stole some business, or not stole, but you know what I mean, like you had some business come over. They're not stealing anybody's business. But if that's the case, this thing breaks 345. I'm looking for that top. But acknowledge that it's a brick wall at this price. And it's not just a random price. Remember the 200 period average dip where everybody loved Palo Alto? that was the top of that move, right in around here in the mid 340s. And it's been selling ever since. Look at the key price levels on this stock. They have been free money. 260 bucks. Even Pelosi bought this level. Not making it up. That $260 level or 265, whatever it was on Palo Alto, now 345. So I'd like to see it break out that top to be a more exciting trade. Because if it doesn't get through that high, I don't know what's going to be so great about it tomorrow, regardless of what the report says.
Yeah, 9% expected move. You'll join me in Adara tonight as we'll talk all about that one. Right there, Palo Alto Networks' previous move only 3.7. Of course, Pelosi was watching the show, and that's that Katina Capital level that we bought that day. And the next thing you know, Miss Pelosi's on it, which I liked. No doubt about that one. All right, so this morning we had Estee Lauder. That's doing absolutely nothing, up 0.1 right now. If you come over to my screen, you'll be able to see Zim was a big trade here today. Could be P&L one on the floor, not on this show. No one's traded it, but Zim has been a good one on the floor. All right, what else is there? Tonight we got 3D. Tonight expected move only 21%, so watch out for 3D systems, of course, coming through. Not much else that I can really see out of a name that we would normally trade here today. Sidhu is right here. That could be a name, aftermarket close. That's one that always pops up on vaccine news, I think, maybe. But other than that, yeah, it's really low, man. After that, you're getting into the single-digit millions. So not much today, except for this bad one right there, 110 billion, not million.
Big as it gets.
Right there for Palo Alto. So that should be a good report. They're coming tonight. And we've recently only bought CrowdStrike. I had sort of said that I hadn't been in this name, and I know, okay, I think we're back up in the money, roughly a couple of bucks right now, probably just paying for the fees. But CrowdStrike right now finally comes back in a little bit for us, CRWD. We're long this name on some of these dips. And the reason why I'm pretty confident on where we got it, I'll go back and look, was we fell back into these levels right here, this 260 area. So I thought I got it on like 264, something like that in there, just randomly got long that day. Obviously it drips a lot lower than that, but on a nice move up. And yeah, CrowdStrike still known as one of the best cybersecurity plays out there. So we'll wait to see if there's any pushback from that, not dispute, but that disruption is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, there's still that the open lawsuits. It was
yeah,
was it American or?
Yeah, they all have them. Yeah, anyone that's they're all trying to file.
I think they might have been was American or Delta. One of those two was the first to file, but that looks like it's going to be a big story. Palo Alto, again, just possibly benefiting from it. I know it was a 265 level for myself, but just back over to if you can. Oh, go ahead. Did you have something else?
No. I mean, we're finally we're only in the money 10 cents here on Amazon. But someone did ask us, why did I get out of NVIDIA? I thought, and again, no problem. Like if you're joining for the first time, all good, man. But right there, it broke the 50-period moving average. That was fine. Touch, finally break. So that was that, and we did pretty good getting out, man. We got out at 128.85 or 89s, it looks like. It goes as low as 64s. Now it's right back there. So if you had FOMO about getting out or anything like that, or you're trailing me, now you're like, oh, why is this guy out? I mean, just get back in. For me, I'm going to wait. And we've done really well. SOXL's at the high. So, I mean, not only are we still in this, we still got a third of this one. Like I said, this is going to be a big trade alert. I can't keep saying that because one of my big trades could be, someone else could be short and going the other way. I don't know. But, this is going to be a good one here. 40.80, that's now I'm going to change this stop right there. So, oopsies, $40. What did I just change that to? Roblox? Oh, hold on a second there. Not that, Siri, XOXL. Right here. So we got to cancel our current stop orders and put in a new one. So $40.79. We'll do that. We'll get out if it breaks lower than that. So right now, SOXL, we cannot make less than $1.75. So far, so good on SOXL. Yeah, US Steel, I might just get out of. And then Amazon, just stopped at 60 there. I mean, I guess we'll have to take something out at the 50 if it goes. These levels are getting closer and closer right now. Next buy level for Amazon, 177.26. So part of this is getting not bored, but just like I'm trying to pick the market. And right now, if I had a choice, I would pick long just because of the way this has rode this 50 period. And I hope a lot of you, and I know there's a lot of people, especially around here, that are using the 50 period moving average. We started really talking about that on the daily chart. Then we implemented it right away on the 1 minute. And since then, I've really traded off that over the last little while. So yeah, that's kind of that. And you joined Adara and Sharif this afternoon when they talked, of course, all about moving averages. So you can join them once again tomorrow. But make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. Get our watch list. Get all of that stuff delivered right to your inbox. So far, so good there. Yeah, Hood's at 20. I mean, we love Robinhood. It's been a good stock.
Robin Hood. That's been a solid one. Haven't looked at that today, but I guess if SoFi's up today, of course Robin Hood's up. We joke because we had that poll a while back about those two, and I'll confess to owning one and not the other, and I own the wrong one. There's no question about that. SoFi kind of stunk. So I said wait for 155. Topping tail candle, similar setup, topping to what we had before. It's going to be hard to see because my executions kind of block it. But see right there, right? Topping tail candle at the previous high, then into the short. A little bit of a cleaner entry this time. We're actually get the shares at the price. So topping tail candle, short the lower high. The trend I want to respect. So the trend line gets down to 154.5-ish. So you get down there, do want to get some out on AMD. It's 320, so you are getting to the latter part of the day. But if it's going to hold this trend the entirety of the afternoon after bouncing off VWAP, then I at least want to respect it for a scalp here. So I'm 85 short, looking for it to get down into that 50 level, tag that trend line, see if we can get some out. Elected to reload Fubo. A lot of times, if I'm going to stop out here, you can make a decision, okay, am I just holding the shares I had before with this stop? Or if it does this, where it wicks right to the level, doesn't break it, okay, well, that's a little weakness. I'll take another shot, add back in. I was going to stop out there anyways above 182, so I'll just reload in front of it and throw the stop above that 182. If we get the low of the day again, which is the low 170s, we can try to get some out. I was also asked what my thoughts are for Fubo tomorrow. I have the stock could gap somewhere and then you can't trade it off the levels that we're looking at here today. So I want to get that out of the way. But I don't see a huge reason not to go right back to the original plan, which was the mid 160s was previous resistance. So if we get an opportunity to, and it's holding still above these mid 160s, I don't see a reason why it can't be a long off those levels here on Fubo TV. So, that was the plan this morning, to look for support off that previous resistance. If we get it again, we get it again. So it could be a long. Right now, it's been trend short in the afternoon, so I'm shorted, at least in the short term. U.S. Steel, now there's a seller at 40.40. So I wicked out at the pre-market at the previous range bottom. Now it's holding 40.40. I said I wanted to get back in. It could show me where. It could have been VWAP. It turns out it's 40.40, where it held for 20 minutes with the same offer at exactly $40.40. So just short right in front of it, and we'll see if it gets back into the low of the day. It's not bouncing, which is always a good sign when it's bad news.
Just waiting to see if any of the stocks that I currently am holding are doing anything. Amazon's not doing anything. So we're going to go to you guys again. Okay, Coffee Trader. Oh, by the way, Coffee Trader, man, 25 months. Let's go. Dropping down some money. Bang, bang, bang. Thank you, Coffee Trader. I saw you get re-up there as a monthly member, so I want to thank you for that as well. $5 a month, man. $5 a month. Go on there and support the show if you can. You asked about NVIDIA. So look, I mean, yeah. Like there's really are reasons why, we sit here and put the work in every day for the sticky note and for things like that. And it just goes, oh, by the way, right now, check this out. U.S. ownership right now, all-time highs for percentage of U.S. households and nonprofits that own stocks. That's good news. If the market's at all-time highs, which it's at, it's nice to know that also ownership of stocks is at all-time highs. Okay, so I don't have to tell anybody watching that's a good thing. All right, right here, right now, as we'll see one more time. This is the sticky note here that we're holding clearly in our hand. We already wanted NVIDIA long. I could pull out any of these where we just gave long ideas, long ideas, long ideas. So I'm just going to stay long. That's the theme on NVIDIA. Stay long. Do basically short, no chip names whatsoever. And that's just because they're super strong. We've identified that for a week and a bit now. And I'm not going to do anything until something changes. The only thing that could change is tomorrow, if I come in and NVIDIA for some reason is down and this market is up, then I will think potentially of another way. But we are coming up again into 130, which I could see as a psychological level potentially. Although it hasn't had that much trading around the 130 mark, I could see us fading off of that a little bit. Right now, you're potentially getting a little exhausted. Right now, it's only done 253 million. I say that because it's been doing 400 million shares a day. And what goes up can easily come back down. The machines just have to turn the other way. So until I see those machines turn the other way, I'll be turning the other way to shorts and just going long. So for you on my analysis of that, coffee trader, I mean, I hope that was decent conviction there. I mean, like I said, it's half my net today and just a huge stock. So we'll continue to go long on this name. I would say for today though, it's 3:30 now. So again, remember in 20 minutes, you're gonna have those imbalances come out where we just put your hands up in the air because I have no idea what's gonna happen with those imbalances. And we've really nailed NVIDIA on those imbalances. So if they come out a buy, we could potentially go long on that name. So that would be the next sort of trade that I'm looking for. And then, you know, I mean, stick with us. Hopefully we'll be able to keep giving you more, but maybe that was a good idea to go short on X. So we're still short on X right now for this. And let's just see where we go. Breaking into 40 bucks would be pretty decent. Like I said, we could have got some more shares there, but we were waiting to put on something a little more serious at the 50 period and just had missed it. So hopefully you guys are in that trade. So that's going to be a good one. And then Roblox still, you know, $50 in, waiting for something to happen there. So patience is fine. We have it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's about. And you know, I was trying to be patient with the U.S. Steel, and then eventually it just showed you where the reentry was going to be. You know, you can guess at it here. You know, look for a retrace at a previous level. You can guess at it. I think that's a reasonable guess. But then it just seller, $40.40 over and over and over again. So it comes in, first good green candle after you notice it, grab the short in front. I think it retests the 40. Clearly there's buyers at 40, so taking profit in front of 40. I think you got to ring the register. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Post news, it bounces off 40. 3:30, it gets to 40. I'm taking it out at that level for sure. Matt Carnes, thoughts on Chewy. You're asking about Chewy. I like squeeze names. Everybody knows that there's nothing better to the upside a lot of times than, look, a gamma squeeze or just a pure short squeeze type name. Chewy is doing everything it can to show the short sellers that there's going to be a squeeze breakout. So I think it's like 7 or 8 days in a row. You guys can count whatever that is. Doesn't really matter. Very close to a breakout here on the daily chart. It's not a huge level. The bigger one's probably at 30. But that 28 on Chewy, you got higher lows, 200 periods held, the 50 periods held, and now the first resistance looks like it wants to get taken out just above the $28 level. So you know my thoughts are with regards to those. Needs to break out that top. Couldn't get there today. Just need to see it happen at some point. If we do, then that's the kind of long that I like for a breakout. It's got to be, for squeeze names, I got to have them taking out monster levels where shorts are scared and shorts are covering. That's the reason to be in it. I don't own Chewy shares, and as a person who doesn't have, like, I don't have pets or anything like that. Like, I don't even, like, I know what the business is, but, you know, I'm not a user of them, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. It's all about that squeeze, and for a squeeze, you want that breakout. Great place to put a stop. Well, not a stop. A great place to put some kind of an alert when it gets close to 28 bucks so that you can catch that trading opportunity. That's one of the cool things about here. I can have a bunch of charts up, but at Real Trading, there's a great system where you can literally set up on your quote board specific price alerts. So I can have 4 or 5 stocks up, but I can have alerts go off on many. I can do the same thing with my Trade Ideas account, which is pretty cool too as well. So AMD, it's holding trend, but we have not retaken that 155. As I said, I would scalp some out into the trend, and if the trend breaks, hold on for Dodge. Zenod saying, y'all should try mint oil wasp spray. Safer, greener, and works well. I have no idea what the dude used, but as long as it works, I'm going to be okay with it. I try to keep it just as simple as possible. At the end of the day, as long as it works, my daughter doesn't have to worry about it, then I'm good to go, and I'm going to be pleased as punch. Back over to U.S. Steel here, as it just tagged the absolute low of the day. So again, we'll give it the Kincaid spike, but there is the dip. See what we said happens? There's buyers there in front of 40. It gets to 40 again and bounces right off the $40 level. So you just had a chance to take a 1-point move, but that's it. It's going 40, 40 to 40. So you take that and then try and rinse and repeat. We're probably running out of time to get another shot at this level again. But sellers at 40.40 and the bids right there at the 40 even. So I'm willing to get out of the trade, but I'm willing to jump right back into it. Not going to carry this to here. Had it out before we got into that trade and made sure we adhere to it so you can get the win on the way back through. Adara?
Just be aware here if you're involved in any of these MPOX related tickers. We do actually have news coming out right now here from Applied DNA Sciences, APDN. They moved a little bit here in volume when this was first announced here, but basically they've now released this filing that they were seeking to extend the improved use of their vaccines that it can also be used to detect here this MPOX clade coming after this WHO's public health emergency declaration for MPOX. Basically, APDN filing here to get this treatment expanded with as this MPOX expands, guys.
Gotcha. Thank you very much there. APD to the N, Applied DNA. Oh, you gotta watch out for those suckers. What goes up must come down. Good news, no flat bottom break. Well, good news for anybody that's going long, I guess, because if it's a trader, this breaks 140, you can see the $1 level again. So 140 looking pretty important for this to hold on to tomorrow, for sure. Charlie Taft, Dalton Kincaid is your pick for the #1 tight end this year. Yeah, I'm all in on that guy. I have a league where I had Kelsey and Kincaid. I traded Kelsey as an excuse to be able to start the Buffalo Bills tight end. And in my other pool, I own every single Buffalo Bill in a dynasty league. Literally all of them until yesterday when some dude, and then as he said it, he took Coleman, the rookie wide receiver, and he starts laughing in the chat. Ha ha ha, I bet you don't like that. I'm like, okay, we'll see how we finish. But you should never, I'll get my bill when we won. Just be careful. I always say, if you're trading, you trade to win. If you're playing fantasy sports, you either play to win or play to have fun. And I acknowledge full well. In my other league where I always have all the Buffalo Bills offense, I was playing to have fun. Then the offense got good, and I just so happened to win. And a lot of people in fantasy, they say they play to win, but they just want to have all their favorite players. That's fine, but understand what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, and understand the league that you're in, the one that we're in. It feels like the people that always win are the people that rip the other people off in trades, and it seems like it's always the same people. Oh my God.
No comment.
No comment. But anyways, Hydration Nation is back right now, so we're just filled this up. We've washed this out right here. Shoot. And look, 3 p.m. So we'll start it at 3 p.m. today. So it says drink more. So we'll drink that there. Yeah, Neil doesn't have any water. Sorry about that. So you will not be.
I didn't even realize that and now I'm thirsty.
What's up, Fortnite Chills right now? Fortnite Chills. Yeah, that's another Hydration Nation. What's up, Shakib and everybody out there as we bring it back to the old school. All right, so Socks L right there. Tell Mr. Brankles, that guy's chilling over there. I'll get you some water, no problem. Brankles, get Neil some water, my guy over there. All right, so we'll see now if you're not busy. If he's not busy, he's got the headphones on. Must be playing Warcraft. Okay, so here we go to the downside. Look, we're now $2 in the money on Socks L. He heard. He's ready. He's going to get you some water.
They're playing Settlers of Catan.
Oh, they're playing Settlers Catan.
Yeah. It's not Warcraft.
All right. Yeah. Hard. Yeah, working hard. Yep. Yeah. One of the hardest workers here. I mean, these guys, as I said, in the midday, they do lessons. They do all this stuff with these guys behind us.
Well, they're also the campus program. They're also monitoring the campus program as well here at Real Trading. So it is what it is, man. You got to get that grind on the floor.
Yeah, you got to get grind on. And that goes to the point of I've already said this before numerous times. As a trader, you should have an extra grind because becoming successful, and again, we talked about this at that event that we were at with JC and everybody that I ran into right there. Very, very tough to become a successful trader if this is your primary source of income. So I definitely appreciate that. And always hardworking are the guys and the team that we have here at Trader TV Live. So, all right, over to the screen with Adara.
Yeah. Pretty green day as a whole for the S&P 500, as you can see, but we do have some names in this index making some outsized moves to the upside and downside. Starting with AMD here, Advanced Micro Devices this morning announcing that they've acquired ZT Systems for $4.9 billion. This sending this one near highs of day stealth about 4% plus for AMD. Next up, we have here McDonald's MCD getting this price target increase from 300 to 320 by Evercore ISI. So McDonald's up more than 3% in the day. Last but not least, we have HPQ. HP here, they're actually set to report earnings August 28th, same day as NVIDIA, getting a downgrade and a $37 price target from Morgan Stanley. So quite a few interesting names here on this list, guys.
All right, there goes U.S. Steel finally. Let's go to the downside right now as the bears have come back to haunt those shareholders of United Steel. And this is what we say, man. You know what? You want to trade small cap stocks? I'm your guy. Today, ALZN, PL number 2 today on the show. You know what's PL number 1? The biggest and baddest of the mega cap names as well, NVIDIA. So you go from low float name number 1, ALZN, over to NVIDIA, over to a mid cap with Roblox crushing. Then you get US Steel, a name that just comes out of nowhere. Unfortunately, look, it'll be a good stock for us, but unfortunately we did not get the reload as we missed that by 3 pennies right there, but down goes U.S. Steel, trying to fall off a little bit. We take some O's there, take 23 cents worth, and then try to just get this going over and over and over again. So good trade there for U.S. Steel, good trade for Roblox, good trade for SOXL. Bad trade maybe, but it's fine. We're not really in this trade. Amazon, I want to get into this at VWAP, so I am still bidding that 425 area. Sorry. 177.25 area to see if we can get in, and then if it drops through 177, we gonzos. But right there, it's going to be, guys, just thank you so much for watching. This is, again, a pretty big day. And all these trades that I'm showing you, like there's ALZN, that's a W, right? We're in this trade right now, so no comment yet on this. Google, I mean, we're long. That's a win. I mean, we were talking about that as we had it. We told you the number 1 trade around here is going to be NVIDIA. Palantir, this really does speak for itself. Those dip buys and then short, and out. We did lose on that last little piece of an out. Roblox, as it was written, Nas, right there. Roblox now 50 cents in the money off that long. That'll be another good one right there. SOXL, forget about it. The SOXL trade is a banger and diamond hander right there for SOXL. We still hold on to a third of that one as that's still going. And you know what? On that note, let's change our stop one more time to something a little bit higher. $40.94. We'll make sure we capture $2 on that trade. That's SOXL. And then Neil, we'll just top up the day right now with X and US Steel, a nice 25-cent win as we speak on that name as well. So yeah, man, today will be another pretty big day here for myself, speaking for myself. And, you know, hopefully moving forward, we can continue. Like, it's only Monday, you know, so much more happening here this week. So let's keep going, see what happens with Jackson Hole.
Yeah, Jackson Hole.
I mean,
we still got we still have earnings. We got Target earning this week.
Target earnings this week.
Pan W tonight, obviously. Make sure you stick around for the aftermarket show. You know what?
Should be all right.
I know there was that Michael Noss was talking about Bros. And I forgot to look back to see how that one was doing. And I know they had the downgrade or something on Bros, but that was one that he was mentioning.
Was he saying long or short? I'll have to find out.
I thought he was looking for a breakout long. I don't know if it was like I'm getting in now. It was more like if
it was downgraded, yeah.
It was downgraded, but that could give an opportunity sometimes.
Yeah. I like
there. Well, I'm thinking if U.S. Steel is going to continue to go, now that it's through that low of the day, it's about like where do I want to throw the stop. So no longer going to stop it at 440, 40. So looking at the previous bottom, 40.10, if it breaks back above 40, which it's trying to do actually right now, I'm just going to move the stop in here to like 40.10 and just hold it to the close. Or, you know, like as close to the close as possible and then see where it goes. It's trending to the downside. There's nothing broken about that trend. So let's just make sure we hang into it. Zenod, we appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for this. Again, reminding me that there is, I think you're still talking about the mint oil wasp killer. Well, I already hired the guy. Like, I can't, we've already sprayed it. The guy came and he did it already. Like, I can't go back in time and get a more environmentally friendly one. But thank you so much for the super chat. Made it from concentrated mint oil. So, you know what? I'm not even pretending that if you give me a choice, I won't make that call. When I told my daughter I wanted us to start like washing the car in the driveway, kind of like I did with my dad when I was growing up, and she said, Daddy, that's bad for the environment because they learned that in school. You have to use special soap. So the first thing I did is went out and bought like the environmentally friendly soap because I wanted to set an example for her so that we could do it. I love doing that on the weekends if it was a warm day. So I don't mind that as long as the price is right. Can't be too expensive or I'm not doing it, is what it is. So with about 20 minutes to go in the day and 10 minutes to the imbalances, I can tell you that there is nothing of note on the early look outside of NU 1.3 million to the buy side. You got SLB and BAC there, but out of those three, I would wager to say that NU might be the most interesting one. Keep in mind, the early look is about the New York stock, so you're never going to see if there's an early imbalance on NVIDIA or Apple or Tesla. You just have to see what happens at 350 and then react accordingly. So if we do see something on NVIDIA, blurt it out, possibly take a trade. For me, I want to see if I'm taking a trade on NVIDIA imbalance, it's got to be at least 2.5 million, maybe more. If it's less than that, kind of a nothing burger.
What's up, Charlie? What's up to all the other real ones that are out there putting up numbers? Shout out to you guys. Look, I'm probably just going to take something out. I was waiting at 54s for Roblox. We could just maybe wait at 50. I can put one at 51 right now. Maybe we'll get, come on, charts. Maybe we'll get a bounce through this and be able to take some 52s out right there on Roblox. We'll just wait for one more penny higher. We always want to make sure we capture some of those fees coming through. I am bidding on X as well right now, so we can wait about that one. I'm bidding 39, ooh, a little bit lower, 39.50s right there to see if we did get a little bit of a bounce. That was 92 right there. Because we are getting closer and closer to the close of the day, let's just put a bid down there as well. Or let's put a bid at 93. Maybe we do wind up getting that one. We do get a Roblox fill there. So there it goes at 51s, actually breaks down through 50s. So there's another out for us on Roblox. You know, party on all of these names. But coming into the closing draft, closing imbalance, we'll be able to see what's happening as Roblox. Again, we had said, like, even when it was going up, we had said live on the show that we wanted to wait for this level. So when that level comes in, it's not like, it doesn't surprise me when this stuff happens. Right back there into the highs. We said, could Roblox go green today? That's what we wanted to wait for. This trade actually might be the longest trade. I mean, I put on a trade before real early, but this one was a 931 or 932 fill there, and we're just getting pieces out right now. We started to get it out, but good hold all the way. And this one, it's not about the time you hold it, it's just that it actually did sort of what we thought it would do. We missed that trade right there, felt bad about that, put the offer there again and get it out. So again, like I was saying, these are trades, and when they hit, they hit. And that's why it does make a huge, huge difference. And again, we realize this by looking at the numbers. The longer we can hold trades that are winners for us, simply put, the more money that we're making. And so that's what we've been doing. Catch the trades and catch the taste. That was McCain? No, not McCain.
Oh, that was, yeah, but that was
punch. Fruit punch. Catch the taste.
No, but it was McCain Fruit Punch. It was McCain.
Okay, so that was what it was. Okay. Catch the taste. We're catching the winners over there, and let's go catch some vibes from Madeira.
Logic Mark here. This one is a penny stock, LGMK, pushing up into the close. Not seeing any news on this. The last news we had was their earnings report last Tuesday. They missed across the board. But it is worth noting here, they do actually have a pretty large short float here, 14.3%. Market cap of $537,000, float of about 3.26 million shares. So pretty small float, decent short float, very small market cap here for LGMK, making new highs of days despite actually very minimal social media attention as well here, guys.
Thank you very much, Adair. We got a few questions about that one, so I kind of threw the question in there, what was going on. So thank you for getting to that. Good point got made in the chat about that SLB. That's actually 1.5 million to sell is about 40% of the current day's volume. That's pretty significant. So I kind of wrote that off. I'm like, yeah, usually that's not a stock that does anything. But I went and checked. It's supposed to be an upweight share increase in one of the SMCA or MSCI imbalances. So it's expected to be an upweight and currently is a sell. So that would be a nothing burger for me. If I see a big imbalance on something, I never want to trade it if it's against some kind of an index action. Like if an index action is going one way and the balance is the other, I'm just kind of expecting it's going to pair off. I wouldn't trade. I'm not trading that one. I'm not looking at it. Usually it's a very good sign if an imbalance is a large portion of the daily volume. That means it's significant. But in that case, I'll stay hands off. Fubo trying to round its way back into those 170s. So if it gets there, I'm on the bid. Only about 6 minutes to go. U.S. Steel just continues to flush in here. No target. At this point, probably just going to move the trail as we get closer to 350. It was at 410. I think I'll probably pop it into like 39.90 where the previous low was on US Steel. So it gave you this kind of consolidation off 40.40 and now just continues to flush. This is a little bit more how it moved the last time it had news like this, where it just bled the entire afternoon and there weren't a lot of buyers. At some point, the ARB decides, hey, this is far enough. The risk is now good enough that we want to be buying it again in case the deal goes through. But until that happens, I think it can be a nice shorting opportunity. So US Steel, about 5% down. Again, courtesy of Benzinga. When we heard this one in our ear, you see the volume spike, a couple of opportunities to go short off of that.
Yeah, I love this, some Benzinga. I'm just posting this up right now about SOXL. I mean, we're out of it, first of all, so.
Oh my God.
Good trade. I mean, it just broke down through right there. We buy it off VWAP. We'll tag Brian Shannon on that one. Those of you looking for VWAP trades, like I said, this is an actual trade. Like we can talk about it all and say, if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. But here it is right here. Here's the hold and there's the out. This is out of a third. So it's a third, and a third. And really proud that we're able basically to hold this all the way to the 50-period break. Like this is exactly the trading that we're supposed to be doing. So that's it, man. We'll put another one on the board right there for that and now wait for another 5 minutes. This Amazon, honestly, guys, what? Oh, my God. We're at 27s. That went to 28s. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Right there. We did it again. 127.30s goes down to, we missed that. I don't know. I'm starting to get a little bit like, maybe a little not as excited as I should be about Amazon heading into these closes. Let's just, all right. I'm going to try to get something out here if it comes back up to 50. I might just end this trade. We don't need to be in this at all. I know it's going to be a flat trade. I wish something had moved there. The futures now look like they want to break lower. Remember I was saying like I thought we wanted to go long? I feel like we were right. We went right back to the high of the day, but now you're starting to drip a little bit here, right? And so clearly getting out of our trades was the right decision there. But again, Amazon looks like it wants to hang out. I mean, SOXL, who better? I mean, look at that out at 41 right there. I don't know. I mean, we're trying our best every single day, and when it works out, man, it's really a good feeling.
This thing is now dying.
Yeah, because we're trying to get you guys, I'm trying anyways to get you guys, for myself too. And this goes back to the roots of where this all started. I mean, I hired Neil, trying to get more and more people into the business, trying to get more and more people ready to go. And I just feel like right there on SOXL, I mean, this is real trading. We're out right there before this happened. We watch our 50 period. If you don't have rules, you don't have these days, you can't put this up. So that's what we're doing right now. Good out on that one. And by the way,
Bye-bye.
Let's go. I mean, there goes, we're getting it, Patrick, my guy over here. Thank you for that support there. But there it goes, man. We're now $1 in the money on US Steel as well to the short side. So yeah, a little bit of stink face is happening as Roblox, again, right back up right here. Mr. Westermeyer, man, love this 8-ball, but honestly, man, there ain't no way I'm second guessing any of the opinions that I'm throwing down right now. So there it goes, Roblox all the way to the upside, US Steel downside. What a day it's been, man. We are really topping it off here in the closing show.
Yeah, that's the way to end it. Well, I'm still in that FUBO, but again, FUBO wasn't really moving. Like that 79 to 75 looks like it's going to end up in the same range. But there was a just hammer candle to the downside on US Steel, another massive volume spike, just as big as the one before, right into 39. The second I see that, I'm like, okay, possible reversion right before the imbalances. I just kept moving the trail, and eventually got out of it. But the key to this is there's lots of ways you could have played this. You could punch short when the news comes out. You could wait for it to settle down, do a topping tail candle, get in there, or you could wait until for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight candles, it held the same resistance level at 40.40. So for 20 minutes, it held 40.40 on the offer, just reserve, wouldn't break. That's an entry. And then now it's continuing to flush. I think, as I said, at some point, usually the ARB decides, we think the deal has X% chance of still happening based on this new news, and it'll find itself some kind of different bottom. So I don't care about things like VWAP on a daily chart. It's probably just more along the lines of, do they like a previous area that they bought before? Again, the arb trade that happens on this is like sophisticated, and believe me, they're doing like math as opposed to caring about something like a volume weighted average price or a 50-period moving average. So this one might settle down somewhere tomorrow. 38 looks interesting, 35. But it looks like it's nasty over here on US Steel. But when the news is bad, we have the option of going short. That's the best thing about trading. You don't always have to buy.
All right, there it is. We will. We just took it out right there, so we'll take it out at 39, and we will tweet about this again because it's just another sort of feather in the cap, right? We talked about sort of the damage that we did on ALZN earlier, and unfortunately, this has now come all the way back down. But we have a 14 print in our account today when the stock is at $6. So yeah, man, we are really excited to continue to trade. Like, I'm booking days off, and I'm thinking to myself, do I really? Like, what exactly are we doing? And that's part of it, right? So we'll still take some days off, some forced, some not. All right, here we go, man. There's NVIDIA with another buy. I mean, honestly, like I was saying, we've been looking at this buy for a minute here, and it's NVIDIA, and it's fantastic. So there's another buy for it. It's starting to go right back there, up to the upside again. Goes NVDA. So yeah, man, I mean, that was a good one there on US Steel. We definitely got out of that one. It's starting to go lower. But remember, look when we took this trade. Like, look at the time of this trade, right? Like, that trade we took at, what the exact minute there, 48s. 47s, 48s. So nice little return there by the time this day was over. So yeah, congratulations to everybody that hit that. Look at NVIDIA. She going again, man. And there it goes. Nice upside day. Big day alert over here. And again, I don't have any problems. I mean, I'm sure when there's big days from other hosts, they'll tell you as well. But right now, this is a big day alert right now. And I'm glad that you guys have all been seeing every trade that we've been making here live today. So again, congratulations. Join Dara and myself quite soon on the after show as Roblox is thinking about it. Maybe I'll check that imbalance for Roblox.
Yeah, there's no imbalance or anything on US Steel. It's just falling like an absolute rock here. A little bit surprised. It looked like it was catching a bid off that 39 for a minute. You go into the end of the day, and what happens at the end of the day can sometimes be very telling. The fact that they're dumping this thing going into the end of the day, no one wants to hold on to the bid. It was just, as we said, it was just NVIDIA 4.9. This SLB, it is 1.5 million to sell, but it's supposed to be an upweight on MSCI. So I'd be a little bit cautious with that. The market is 1.4 million to buy overall, 600 million on the NASDAQ. The Mag 7 total is like 445 million to buy, which is not a heck of a lot when you consider that by itself, NVIDIA is more than that total Mag 7 imbalance. Because like NVIDIA right there is like 650 million itself to buy. So that would actually mean the rest of the Mag 7 is 200 million to sell overall. And you can see there, Google is a sell imbalance of 700,000 shares. So that's one out. I don't see any of the other ones out there at all.
Even when we don't mean to make money. Thanks, Amazon. Man, I don't even, like, it's like when I try like really super hard, it doesn't come this easy. And then when we're just like, Amazon's not doing anything. Let's go. Out. I hope everyone's enjoying the show. This is doing and talking at the same time. There's Amazon, banger. No losing trades today on the show, which is, for me, it's pretty unbelievable to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stocks, man, and some of them were ones that I could have never even expected, like this US Steel and like PNL2, ALZN. So, I mean, we're having a great day. We had a great weekend. SOXL right back up to the tops, man. The account is singing right now, man. Are we humming right now on the PA as well? There goes NVIDIA. Wow. All right. Obviously, you can see we're pretty happy. You're a little bit on cloud 9. We come in tired, exhausted from the weekend, but this market really rejuvenates us. We're back in here. It is a shout out to everybody, of course, as we go. The members of Hydration Nation, man. If water is the key to days like this, man, we'll be drinking gallons and gallons of this because this is what we're doing. Monster day here. Really nice to get this going again off of, again, a huge month in July. We talked about that. Now we'll see if we can just repeat here in August. Although it's already August 19th. Hey, man, one day you could put up everything in one day. So we'll just see if we keep getting these feels, man. It's going to get better and better and better. We are trading in the zone. That's right.
Shout out to gallons of water per day. Maybe don't drink gallons and gallons of water. There's a limit to how much water the human body can drink, but you got to have a plan of action for sure. Look, I absolutely love what's going on here. Don't want anyone to forget. Just because the market closes doesn't mean everything's. That's what I'm saying. Gallons and gallons of water a day.
No, I'm just equating it to the P&Ls.
No, I said there was someone in the chat that was like, yeah. Exactly. What should be safe?
I mean, Neil, you got to be impressed with the trading today.
I'm always impressed with a day that's an up day, as far as I'm concerned. Right?
You are every up day impressed with?
What's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, like you said, 95. I mean, we could talk about P&Ls, right? 95% of traders lose. So any green day.
The way I always like to
agree
say
with you, actually.
I've been like, I like to keep it to the point of, like, I've been really, really lucky and fortunate as a trader. Like, trading on a prop floor with a lot of like-minded individuals, like lots of really smart people who are very real about how difficult the job was going to be.
Yeah,
when I started, when I went out with you guys at the bar, not a single person went out there and was like, oh, this is going to be the easiest thing in the world to do, and everyone's going to make a bunch of money. Yes, everyone was celebrating a good day that day, and they were having some brews. But, you know, I knew what I was getting into without any of that, hey, you're going to get rich quick nonsense. Some people get into this business with that in their heads. I was fortunate enough not to. So I'm kind of, that's why you see me try to be like really humble about it, because I'm always looking for what's the next opportunity. Keep your mind focused, that kind of thing. Because I know that's where it's at.
Wow.
So in that vein, as I was trying to say, like, do not forget, you still have PanW earnings after the bell. Market's going to close here at some point, but it doesn't mean things are over. Check out the price action in the aftermarket too. Get some big imbalance movement here. NVIDIA just paired off to half. So it was 5.5, 6 billion or million shares. Now it's 2.7. This SLB is still a sell imbalance, so I'm expecting it to flip at some point to a buy. I would not trust. I shouldn't say that. I'm not caring about the SLB sell. But I'm not saying don't trust it. It is currently saying it's a sell imbalance, but I'm expecting it to flip to a buy imbalance at some point. NVIDIA wants this 130 for sure. And you know what's crazy? Is on a day like today, even Intel is screaming going into the end. I just saw someone pop this up just in time, said Intel 2150. This is the first thing that I shorted today. Very first. And it was right at VWAP, very standard setup. Failed a 21 break, and let's just start shorting it at VWAP. This is the moment it broke VWAP. That could have been abject disaster fighting Intel. And Intel up 3%. Probably the first time since I think that big recovery day that it's been up this much. But a good day for Intel, up 3 points. Good for them.
Yeah, I think you guys are 100% right, man. Being in the zone means you got to be a robot and no emotions. So, yeah, I think that's right. I mean, I think that's what we're in. And that's why when it comes back to you, I'm just kind of like not really that emotional about this. And I agree, man. That's why you have to, humility is what it's all about. You know, if people were more honest with what they made, then you would see humility all over the place. And it's just that our business is filtered with a lot of that, you know. So, but anyways, there goes Roblox again. Nice upside move with only 2 minutes left. We'll wait to see, man. Me and Adara will be on the recap show where PanW, basically the only name that we're worried about, that will be coming out ASAP, and really liking a break long here on PanW. For me, I'd be hesitant to go long. We have a 10% move expected on PanW. So 340, this is either at 315 tonight or you get up here and break out through the all-time highs for Palo Alto. This has been a name that, of course, we've been buying for many years, but the last dip was on this horrible miss all the way back down into the 200 period where we thought we knew what we were doing. And then it bounced back up and came right back in again. And then, as we all know, Miss Pelosi started buying, and then it was off to the races. So we actually have it from there, not from here. If they have another epic miss, probably pick up some more down there near 300.
Define epic though.
Well, like this was epic. That's another one. So
Oh,
this
okay, I
is
was gonna say,
370 down to 270. So this has to lose another $100 at least. But the thing is that I buy more at the 200 period.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because I think doing what it did last time seems very unlikely because it was such a extreme move.
Yeah, this would have been, I guess, 2 quarters ago. But that's a huge move down in right there in February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, so we'll see what happens now with only a minute left. 10% expected move. And yeah, man, checks notes, monster day here today. Join me tomorrow. Make sure you catch the recap show with Adara and I.
Bit Digital also reports.
We are out of there. Bit Digital, all right.
They're a good name, Bit Digital, just because it's got a 19% short float. And there were rumors of being, like there was them, who was it? Was it Mara or Riot? It was Riot that was rumored to be buying. What did she yell? Oh, Bit Farm. Okay, yeah, it's not the same one, but 18% short float. That'll be on watch for me. Palo Alto as well. You do have that pairing event happening on that SLB, but I want to have eyes on NVIDIA and probably Palo Alto, Pandub, looking super, super strong going into the close, going into these earnings. We are expecting to have it at about 4:05, so it's just going to be a couple of minutes into the aftermarket show. Now this one wants to hang up. Load, there we go. Looking like it's going to be a strong close in there. The countdown should already be on, but ring it in 2 seconds because it's now that you want to ring it there, Adara. Market is closed. Palo Alto closes at about 3% to the upside. The NASDAQ, 1.25%. You got the ES just under 1%. But with only 5 minutes, so we're expecting Palo Alto, this could move at any moment. Just be careful whenever you're trading things. If you are, for whatever reason, trading aftermarket, that initial move can be dangerous, especially if the earnings haven't come out. So it is spiking already to the upside. I want to shout out Fabian and Refrain, making us look and sound good every single day here. Shout out to, of course, Sharif and Adara, filling in for Brendan on the desk and doing the midday, and Adara about to head off with Sean. Doing the aftermarket show. So Palo Alto, initial move to the upside, a couple of bucks here, but the earnings aren't out just yet. You're going to have those. You're going to have trade review. You're going to have an idea what the market did, and you're going to have special guest Michael Noss with the market recap show right about now. Go get him.
All right. What's up, everybody? I am nowhere near ready. So how are you doing, Adara?
I'm alive. How are you doing today, Sean?
How am I doing today?
Yeah. Oh, I guess you're doing well. You had
we on cloud 9 today. We had quite the day. Yeah, if there was a cloud 9, yeah, we would be
above that.
Maybe in and around 11 right now. All right, so Pan W, that's what we're waiting for. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. Shout out to it is the rebirth of Hydration Nation starts today. And yeah, man, we have been seeing things clearly so far the last little while. Yeah, we like that rock and roll. We do have Michael Noss coming on later on today as I just load up the chat as we basically make it from one desk all the way over to another. And I promise you, we will be more prepared as we go through it. Thank you to everybody who's watching today. We will wait for Pan W. We are brought to you by Benzinga. So, of course, the Benzinga Pro platform will open up and we will be able to show, I don't have it open yet, we'll be able to show you guys all of that as we go. Adara should be on top of that as well.
Waiting, don't worry.
I'm just trying to log in as we speak. But as soon as those numbers come out, we'll drop those for you. XBI today, ARC, TAN, all big names. You know, what goes up must come down. I know we always say that. But you know what? U.S. oil really hasn't been on as much of a march as I think a lot of people thought. XLE's been a really good name for us, but there's USO again, pulling right back into the 200 period. So that name continues to fall a little bit there. USO oil, and which is nice for me. And you don't drive, but you know,
I do not.
Lower oil price is definitely helping out many different sectors as a lot of inflation, obviously, as we know, is housing and what's been happening with shelter and food prices. Obviously, energy, a big spot that we'd have to deal with. You know, as far as payments concern, a lot of people battling that. Truckers, industrials on a nice move lately. We'll check airlines and whatnot. So Palo Alto, I'm assuming, is not out on the daily chart.
Ew.
We're still dancing around. It is starting to take out a little bit higher. What we look for today in Palo Alto is a number that either guides a little bit heavier, Neil talked, or to the upside, not lighter, due to potentially, and Neil was mentioning this, the CrowdStrike deal or outage there, potentially gaining some. I'm trying to log into my Benzinga Pro account, so when we get that, we'll get that going. But I don't have that up quite yet. We're looking for pushback from that deal into PanW's account. So that'll be something that we'll look for. What were the other earnings we have out before I try to get really mad here?
We have Bit Digital. They're supposed to be BTBT. They're supposed to be coming out at 4:30. They were looking for revenue here of 26 mil, so very small company, looking for a loss of 3 cents per share. So this was not the company involved in Riot. Riot is trying to take over Bitfarms, BITF, not BTBT. There was an ongoing update in that saga last week. Now Riot has like almost 19%. But yeah, BTBT on watch here as well. Daniel Lenez wants a dare clap. I will clap.
All right, people like that clap. Yeah, we make it claps. That was a good one right there. As we move forward, look, today was a big day in the markets, let alone the semis, right? I mean, we wrote down today that we really loved NVIDIA. We'll go 7 for 7 today. So when you ask about what kind of a day it is, it's a day. But it's a good one too. We don't have too much actually planned tonight, so I was actually really happy about that. Get to go home. We had a little wine left over from the weekend, Adara. Maybe we'll have a little bit of that to celebrate.
That sounds fun.
Here tonight. Yeah, it does. It does sound fun for sure. Shout out to Apple Fritter there in the chat. We picked Neil up in Apple Fritter. Tomorrow, what do you normally get from Tim Hortons?
Oh my! I haven't.
Like I've only ever asked you about like crafted beverages.
Okay, I get the ice cap usually with like almond milk.
Same with Ramin over there.
If I'm gonna get a bagel, it'll probably be like I don't know, like sesame or something. I don't know. I don't go to Tim's that much.
So I say bagel.
Did I say it wrong?
No. What do you say?
Bagel. Okay. Bagel.
Good enough. I wonder what it is. I don't know. It depends on the day. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. We always talk about because we always like people are like, oh,
we got paid at Palo.
You Canadians are.
That one. It came out.
I was just watching PanW right now, and I was like thinking, are the earnings out? Because right now, ruh-roh. A nice little move down for PanW down to 324 right there. So nice move down for that. We'll get it. We do have the Benzinga Pro platform. So as soon as those come out, we'll get them for you. Adara's all over it. So it looks like we're red a little bit here coming through. It looks like fourth quarter. I'm trying to find out what it is here, Adara. If you have it right now, PanW.
I've got it. So we have their outlook coming out here. I'll start with
now
outlook.
It's higher.
It's coming out right now. Outlook, they're seeing 9.1 to 9.15 billion in revenue for the fiscal 2024. Analysts were looking for 9.11, so largely higher than estimates here. Their outlook for, or I guess 2025, sorry. Their outlook for Q1 coming in here for earnings per share, $6.18 to $6.31. Analysts were looking for $6.19, so also largely higher than expected here. So generally, fiscal 2025 outlook generally above expectations for earnings per share and for revenue. They did authorize an additional $500 million in buybacks here. Goodbye, Fabian. And what else? Let's get the earnings for this quarter coming out here. So they did, sorry guys, I'm just seeing things scroll in, so I'm trying to adjust as I'm reading, as it's moving here. Apologies there. We did get here their revenue for this quarter was a beat. 2.189 billion versus estimates of 2.162 billion. That would be a beat. Except the Q4 pre-tax profit was pretty bad here. It coming in at 319 million. Analysts were looking for 631.3 million. So they missed by almost 300 million. Their earnings per share for Q4, $1.01 versus estimates of $1.41. Again, guys, I apologize. Things are rolling in. I will summarize all those numbers for you when we get another look here, guys.
Yeah, Darren, never apologize again. That was fantastic. Well, you can apologize whenever you want, but that was great coverage right there. As PanW, yeah, nice little upside beat there for PANW. And I mean, it's doing kind of what we thought it would do. There it is, up 7% right now, trying to get a little bit higher. Of course, PanW's closing print in and around 343. So it's just up a little bit there. It's up $13, now trying to go higher, $17. 360 coming in there for Palo Alto. And again, the level we're looking for is this break, and I already did that. So you can see where we're ticking up to now, 360 on Pan. Let's just see if there's a little bit of a push forward now on CrowdStrike here on the daily. Let's just see if there is anything in the after hours. Yes. So a nice little move up also, you know, rising tides lifts all ships. We'll see about CrowdStrike, FTNT, Fortinet, yes, sir, we get that name right as well. Fortinet, nice upside move on them. I really like Fortinet in the space. They actually had already a bang-up report. The Fortinet says, definitely, PanW, you hold my beer, my guy, because just 2 weeks ago, Fortinet, and again, we talked about those bottoms. Let's use a more realistic bottom here. $57, $58 for Fortinet, now up to $75 on its own merits. Now let's see if we can clear out and get back up to 80 on the back of PanW. So another great little name there. Let's just go over quickly. We'll go over some of the names today. We did have a nice move up in SMR. As we talk about NewScale, I know Michael's been into this one as well. It had a nice intraday move at the end of the day when Donald Trump at a rally was talking a little bit about energy and some of the plans that he had in mind for that. So looks like a nice move up. I did not follow up on this story. So again, it looks like it faded back out. The big story of the afternoon, though, with President Trump and with anything that was possibly said at this event was the fact that he may sort of look to kibosh and get rid of the deal between U.S. Steel and Nippon, which is, of course, a Japanese steel maker, one of the largest in the world, obviously looking to keep properties, American companies, not only listed here in the United States, but also under control in the United States. And without me knowing too much about the space, I know there's a lot of you out there that will, and I wish we had a metals expert to come in and talk about how exactly important that is. But I think, again, for security reasons and things like that, I believe President Trump probably on the right spot there with that thought. So again, just looking at this, looks like we are in the mid-30s. If we come over to the daily chart right now, as I see Michael Nas has red on, so I'll ask him if he's predicting something tomorrow or if he was trading natural or oil today, gas, as they're the only red sectors I can find. But I'm sure he's dug down. I'm sure there's many more red sectors.
Oh, yeah.
Because this guy is all over that. We'll talk to Michael about how his day was. But look at this, man. U.S. Steel, again, just before, and I'm not sure when exactly the buyout talk started happening, but if you get rid of me, Fabian, I don't know how fast you can do this, but there, bang. That was quick. I wish that was like stocks. You know, I wish the stock would go up, bang, it went up.
Right,
but right there,
like immediately get filled.
Yeah, so yeah, I wish we could fill at any random price. But I'm not sure when that talk was here, Fabian, but there's the move from 22, again, up to 28, and then there's another gap again. So, you know, going all the way back to December of 23, nice little gap fill up there. That to me means that some kind of a buyout agreement put into place, but still not finished. So if U.S. Steel is under any pressure, would not be surprised if it does fade back into, you know, this sort of level where we're at right now, to be honest with you, $38, $39, or even lower. The one name that I would look to get my money in, you know, before buying U.S. Steel, I was in Nucor. I really like this name. Not really sure. Michael, if you're watching, I'd actually like your opinion here right now on Nucor. This is another name that, again, it's one of the best names you could buy in steel. You know, big sort of, again, $5 billion in cash, nice market cap right there of $35 billion. It's not huge as opposed to U.S. Steel's only $8 billion. So you're talking about a name that is 8 to 35, 7x the market cap of U.S. Steel, Nucor, really getting hit. You know, we talked about copper and things like that. CopX going to come in, the global copper miners. That had to move up and now it moved back in. Moved down, now a move back up. You know what's name's been really, really depressed? And I can't just keep on throwing all these names at Michael, but what's up with Cleveland Cliffs? I mean, that's a nice downside.
They fell off a Cleveland cliff.
They fell off of some sort of a cliff in Cleveland as well. I don't know how many cliffs they have there, but this one is pretty steep. FCX, if you're talking copper, that would be Freeport, and that could be a name that looks to get going. All right, I'm not going to keep Michael for much longer, but I do want to do something because it's really our show. Yeah. You know, and we really appreciate having all these great guests. But we'll get to them in 1 second. Petite moment right there. Look at this day for NVIDIA. I mean, let's just go over a few stocks here. NVIDIA really holding the day, man, up 4% today and continuously going. NVIDIA was my #1 trade. It was your trade of the day. It was the #1 play on the sticky note. It will be on there tomorrow. Stay tuned for more levels tomorrow on NVIDIA. But AMD also saying, hey, wait a minute, we never get talked about as much on this show, but you should have today because you're up 4.52%. Both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ gained today off of a huge week last week, up over 5%. Much of the strength led by Mag 7, of course, with NVIDIA all the way to the upside. And I can never find Tesla. It's because it's over here in consumer durables on TeamView as that continues to go higher and higher and higher. We did have AMD with a buy of ZTS Systems, definitely helping it out. Fubo, again, with a nice move up. ASTS, we had ALZN starting to move around. Amazon with a nice move. Google, Meta, the lagger. Apple, the lagger. So if we're going to look for some weaker Mag 7 names, it would be Apple and Meta. We'll pick on them tomorrow, but Adara, you were just trying to get my attention. Is it because has Pan W done anything?
Yeah, well, it actually has to do with Schlumberger as well.
Schlumberger,
here.
like that name.
So they're announcing and they're expanding their collaboration set to combine SLB's cloud and edge technologies and the domain expertise in the energy industry with Pan W's, quote, cross-industry platform-based cybersecurity solution. So I just basically a nice way of saying they're going to use some cloud stuff from SLB, some cybersecurity stuff from PanW to expand this collab. Just keep an eye on both of those names with that involved. Also worth noting, so PANW, I said they missed on earnings per share. They did, but they beat on adjusted earnings per share. So I put all those numbers in the chat. They also announced a $500 million expansion to their buyback program.
So Schlumberger, of course, an oil and gas name. And there's something funny because at the event with JC on Thursday, I was actually speaking. I had a question there. I wasn't a speaker.
That's cool.
I had a question for both individuals there. Lawrence, I forget his last name, who wrote the book, my bad. And JC were there, JC Peretz, of course. And I said, hey, look, forget about the AI trade. I mean, not forget about it. We're already long NVIDIA. A lot of people are already in those names. But if we actually like oil and gas and some of the energy sector, and they do, JC likes it. He was talking about XLE as well. The whole thing that I brought up was if we really like the underlying, then we should be buying the XLE and some of these companies, because not only are these companies getting more efficient, but they're using AI now to generate further profits, cutting costs, using AI to become more efficient. So if we actually think that the price of oil is going up, well, then these big oil conglomerates are actually going to wind up making more money because they're able to produce it cheaper due to some of these efficiencies that they're being able to find not only with drilling, but also within their own processes, right? Their own internal processes. Like even here at Real Trading and at Trader TV Live, we're using some of these different ideas, switch cameras faster, trade quicker, algorithms, things like that. So why not some of these major companies, the picks and shovels, putting them into their platforms, just like you mentioned there with PanW and Schlumberger. So actually right on the nose, right there with that kind of talk. Before we go to Michael, quick check back in on PanW. It is now at 354. All right, Michael, is he ready? Sometimes I feel like it's Mr. Nas's world and we're just all living in it. How are you doing, Michael, today?
I'm doing fantastic, Sean. How are you doing?
Not too bad. You are a man in great shape as well, not like me, but we've instituted Hydration Nation. So do you have a water? Let's drink. You know what I'm saying? I mean, great minds think alike, and that is Mr. Michael Nas right there. You got to stay hydrated. You got to stay in that zone. We were 7 for 7 today. And we just instituted Hydration Nation back. So I'm thinking like the water sort of cleared all the fogginess in my head, and we're able to see clearly today with some good opportunities. I had shouted out a few things there. I'm not sure what your opinion was on some of the steel plays, but today we had that news come out, and I know as far as macro is concerned, obviously you listen to macro, but you're going to be more of a technical guy. Anything on the breakdown today of either U.S. steel, which looks like it's breaking back in? Is this something that you would trade, or you would kind of let this settle down? Because even though it's looking like it's dropping into support, for me, when we're news-based, I'd like to stay clear until we get some sort of an all-clear sign on a potential deal. Any opinions?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think one thing to look at is just I've got the chart up here, DBCE, which is just the overall commodities ETF. Okay. So it's going to have some steel, it's going to have some copper, it's going to have all these in it. And, if you look at this and you compare it to the S&P 500 or even the RSP, which is the equal weighted S&P, pretty much anything, it's just being a dog. So right. We have this support sitting here around $21. If someone who likes to buy support, sell resistance, might be a good shot right here. But I just look at all of this overhead resistance and just think there's probably better places for me to be hunting right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's actually, and I don't know enough about this, and I think that we keep on dropping JC's name back and forth, but what he does is really compare, and I know you do too, the different sectors, which ones are strong against another, possibly go short one, long another. I'm just kind of surprised, and I don't know if your studies show this, but the commodity tracking fund that I had on now, just because DBC, what you just mentioned, near lows, yet gold, GLD, looks like, and you've been right on the nose on this one as well, Michael, this looks like it continues to break out. So I guess we don't get too much correlation between the two of those, or do we? Any opinions there on gold, silver against that commodity index?
Yeah, the main difference is going to be that mainly these commodity tracking ETFs are tracking, useful commodities. So things that you can eat or things that you can build with or something like that. When we're talking about gold, we're talking about silver, we're talking about essentially currency replacements or stores of value. Generally speaking, yes, they're commodities, but they're just treated a little bit differently because they're in that different bucket. And, you want to talk about relative strength, relative weakness, mentioning JC, he loves this as well. And it's kind of my bread and butter is just trying to own the strongest stuff.
Right.
Gold here breaking out to new all-time highs. So, when you talked about, what do you think of silver? In the back of my head, I instantly just said, well, if I'm going to own a metal at this point, I think it's going to be gold.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking about as well. Every time I think about the semis and things like that, it's like, I love to look at Micron and AMD and all that, but you know what, really? I'm just going to go back over to the big dog one more time. I want to talk to you a little bit about USO because this seems to be, and again, we talked about, DBC right there actually, as one of the red names today, DBC Gold and USO. How much of this do you think, and you talked about the RSP, how much of this is just like some of these commodities, like there's, again, seems to be so much attention on the tech sector with NASDAQ having its best week almost ever last week, it seemed like, up 5+% in 1 week alone. I just feel like the market goes with ebbs and flows, and right now, people want to buy back some of these names. Apple's back to 225, Amazon's trying to find a base, so is Google. So I feel like at some point, maybe the switch goes back into energy. Are we there yet, or any thoughts on USO, or is there a tool in the energy space? I know I like XLE. Is there one that you would prefer, or a name you're looking at in the energy space, maybe that's a little undervalued?
I have to say, and just bluntly, I am very confused about this market, and it's because things that are generally work together are starting to break in certain ways. So, we had this massive shock in the market that caused this immediate flight to safety that looks like it's just instantly being reversed.
Right.
And we're having everybody buy tech again. So everyone's all in on technology, completely throwing out everything else. However, you're looking at some technology, and I saw we had a little interaction on Twitter on this. Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of crypto is not getting any love.
Right.
You know that I think it's to my detriment. Some people yell at me for this, but Bitcoin's not a currency. It's not a store of value. It's a risk asset and generally moving with other risk assets. But in this case, it's not. So we are in a market. I don't know if it was just that we're recovering from this shock event and we need kind of things to start lining up, and that might take some time. But the general correlations that I would look at are kind of gone. I actually have tonight written off where I'm going to go through 150 or so charts to try to piece together where this money is flowing. But it's been the hardest time. Is you're right. Energy is moving lower, but then we have these small micro nuclear reactors moving higher, and then we have general metals moving lower and precious metals moving higher. It seems like almost just somebody took the snow globe and shook it, and we're just waiting for everything to settle back down is the best analogy I can give.
I asked, it's funny you mentioned that snow globe there. I asked my parents when I was in London, I was like, how are the kids doing? Blah, 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 whatever, they're doing fine. And I was like, I'm getting them something to bring back. And my mom said that she really liked the snow globe that I brought her back from Rome. So I picked her up one in London. Now it's on her table there, and she likes the snow globe. So here's the post you're talking about, Michael. You talked about BTC correlation hitting 0.3 with the Qs, and I had sort of caught some flack around here as well. I was like, if the NASDAQ's going to tank, then I'm pretty nervous about what exactly is going to happen with Bitcoin. And we saw that $20,000 move from top that you have here all the way to the bottom, that 70 down to 49 in relatively straight line right there. I don't know if that's exactly this chart, but that's what can happen to Bitcoin. And I am 100% with you on that. I don't know if you saw this. This was something that was pretty interesting to me as well. Right now, stock ownership basically at all-time highs. So U.S. households, about 41% right now owning stocks. You think that's a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I feel like the more people that own stocks, maybe they'll hodl them, which thus takes away from some of the supply. I don't know. Any opinions on things like that?
Generally speaking, the larger retail audience trades exactly wrong, where they start to buy at all-time highs and then start to puke out their holdings at all-time lows. And it creates this entry and actually liquidity for institutions. It's why, you can just say, hey, if you're watching this show right now, you're kind of heads and shoulders above that general public, because you'll have people guiding you through when there are crazy market events. So generally speaking, that's a bit wrong. I would really like to, that's something that I would have to dive into and see how they're measuring it, because a lot of this is just done via ETFs now. And what we've noticed is that regardless of what happens in the market, there are these bi-weekly contributions with people's paychecks that go into ETFs like VOOs and others. And regardless of what's happening in the world and what's happening in the market, that continues. So if it's counting that, I don't really think I'm going to pay too much attention to it. But if it's individual stock ownership amongst retail traders, then generally speaking, if you go back in history, that peaks at market peaks and then it bottoms out at market bottoms.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We did have Palo Alto Networks reporting tonight. We've got Snowflake's reporting on Wednesday, and then the Wednesday following that, we'll be getting earnings from CrowdStrike. With all of these cybersecurity issues coming up as well with AT&T and CrowdStrike, we do have a question here from Raving Millionaire in the chat asking what cybersecurity name you're looking at right now, if any.
Well, so a bit of full disclosure off the bat here. I have Hack up on my screen, and I know I mentioned this one of these shows I think I was talking about, where I was going to be looking for a signal to buy Hack, and I found that on Monday when we gapped under this prior resistance, and then over the next few days we started to drift higher. So my synopsis, and the reason I picked an ETF this time instead of an individual name, is that when I saw what happened with CrowdStrike, it kind of woke the market up to the fact that there is one cybersecurity provider that if they go down, it seems to bring the entire world to its knees, at least temporarily. So the reason I like the ETF on this is that if I'm right and people are going to sell CrowdStrike and buy other individual cybersecurity names, then the overall ETF is going to benefit from that. So Hack, actually, which I didn't even notice, so I brought up, so thank you for putting a little light in my day, close to all-time highs here, breaking out into all-time highs. So I may take a look at an ETF like this personally, just because if that distribution idea is correct, then people are going to sell one, but they're going to use that cash to buy all the others, and an ETF will be a good winner from that. There's a few of them. I can't think of them off. I just remember Hack, honestly, because of the name, but there's a number of these cybersecurity ETFs you could look at.
Thank you very much. There's actually one more audience question for you as well, coming from Saud, asking if you see bearish divergence on the Qs right now.
Yes, and it is something to notice, and I'll actually bring that up. It is something to note. However, bearish divergence is only confirmed when we reach all-time highs. So you guys can just get a little look behind here where we just add this RSI indicator is usually the easiest way to look at it on my trade ideas chart. Yeah, generally speaking,
RSI on this.
Divergence is going to happen when you have new highs being made in a security and then not new highs being made in an ETF. So technically, the divergence already happened and it's starting to resolve lower. So what you're going to look to see if there's continued divergence is that if we make a new all-time highs in price, but yet this RSI can't get back up to the 70 or so, that is a warning sign. But I will say, although I do closely follow divergence, it's very important to know that it's not a trading signal. It's more of a warning sign. If you're in something and you're short and it's selling off and you see bullish divergence, it's just warning you that a turn may be coming. And same to the long side, because divergence can go on for months or even longer before it actually triggers.
It's actually funny. You just talked about, thanks, Michael. Thanks for all that, Michael. As you mentioned RSI, I just realized I had RSI on these charts and they disappeared. I can speak to Neil about that. I do like to have RSI up on the chart as well. Okay, time for you to let us know if there's anything on your mind, Michael. You've just sort of taken a couple questions from the viewers. And you were on earlier today talking about some Dutch bros, some good ideas from this morning as well. And I know that you like to maybe open or have a look at positions once the day opens, especially to start a new week. So anything tickling your fancy?
Again, I have a whole date scheduled with 150 charts to try to figure out this market. It might actually go to 300, which is kind of my extended list. But one thing that just starting my scanning as the market closed that really stuck out is this ETF that I have up here, which is ACWX. Now, this is the All Country ex-US Index. I know I bring the weirdest ETFs, you guys, but essentially the entire world with the US taken out of it and seeing how that performs. And we are at very, very close to all-time highs, or sorry, very close to kind of, I call it pre-crash highs or whatever on this index.
Where's 226?
And that is dramatically outperforming the Qs, and it's outperforming the S&P 500. So it may mean that money is going to different parts of the world right now, outside of the US, and that might be something that I focus as well. So when you're doing your scanning tonight, maybe broaden your search outside of the US.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that's when you said that, I was like, what is even happening? But I mean, ex-US, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'll probably join you and look at something north of 150 charts tonight. No, I don't think so, Michael, but I appreciate it, and that's why we have you on the show. And I think that that's part of it, right? It's about following a routine. Well, I mean, we could speak about that probably for days and days. And if there's something that you always do, it's like going to the gym, it's like this Hydration Nation stuff that I'm pumping right now. Anything that you're doing, make sure that you do follow a routine, because I think that leads to success. I mean, it's just like that hack ETF. If we don't sit here and talk about it and you don't review it, then you're like, oh my, like you missed that. And that's happened to me so many times due to my own laziness, to be honest with you. You don't look back and notice, oh my, something's breaking out. Oh, one more thing before I let you go. And again, my bad. If you have to go, please just hang up immediately. What about uranium? Okay, this was a name, again, that we had talked about many times. SMR, their new scale. Uranium is really getting hit. I like energy and I like uranium. I think that that's going to be something that we'll probably be talking about for years and years and years. And our kids, I think, would appreciate us picking up this ETF or a name, maybe even right now. Is there a name you like? Maybe outside of SMR, because we sort of talked about that. Or are we just safest right now while the sky is a little bit cloudy to buy the ETF?
I'm going to be trading uranium from a couple different angles. So full disclosure, I own some SMR. It was a trade of the week, either this week or last week for Trade Ideas. I have the uranium chart up here, and we are actually talking about this level, me and you, a while ago, and said, hey, if it gets to this level and shows some support, I'm going to take a shot. I did that as well. So this is just, the prior breakout that we had right here, prior resistance acting as support. So I am long a little bit on this level as well, building into a position that I will build into strength. Another one that I'm looking at very closely, again, these weird ETFs for you guys, is NLR. So this is combining the commodity of uranium, and it's also adding in things like CCJ for the actual stocks, and then also looking at SMR and NNE, and all of these things are a component of it. So this is a good overall nuclear play as well. So if you're talking about riskiness, I think uranium is probably the lowest risk, therefore it will probably give you the lowest return if you're right. Picking individual names like SMR and NNE is going to be the highest risk, and then the highest return if you're right. And this NLR is going to be nice middle ground. And I'm just kind of spreading my trade idea out across all three.
Yeah, I like all of that talk. And again, yeah, thanks for reminding me. I think I should step in. I knew we talked about some of those uranium levels. Michael, look, thank you so much for joining us once again. A lot of great names. Over 2,400 still watching, and really a lot of support there in the chat. So remember, everyone can go over there, Trade Ideas. Check the link in the description. Grab that 20% off with TraderTV20. And you're available for questions. They can find you on X, on Instagram. Anything you want to promote that you're doing in the next couple of weeks or days?
No, just X, and then follow my Substack as well. I write about my thoughts and just make general technical analysis videos. You can check it all out there.
Man, in the late summer, like you're back. I mean, I know you always have that same sort of backdrop there from your house. What amazing. We get to see you in the winter. It's completely covered. And now it just looks absolutely gorgeous there in the summertime. So it's always nice to be able to trade from home, of course, and you have a great setup there. So it's Michael Noss. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Ciao. All right. What do we have listed up next? Sticky Note? Is that what we've got? We've got some Sticky Note reviews to happen. What is that? I never heard of Sticky Note, but right here it is. Oh, yeah, we found it. My bad. Right there. It is going to be the only resource that you need right there would be for that today. Our biggest trade was NVIDIA. We hit that over and over again. We also hit Roblox long at 40. We got there, Google, Fubo, and Palantir. And I just want to show you, man, because real sees real. We just had Michael Noss on the show. This is my NVIDIA day. If you want to wonder why we're in a good mood, buy, get out right there. Nice trade on that. We also have SOXL. Oh no, I have to do this on the different screen so you can see it changed properly. SOXL right there. That was a good dip buy opportunity. I just want to buy the best names. If I can't buy them and there's no opportunities there, then we'll just move over and do this kind of stuff on SOXL with a nice upside move. We also wrote down Roblox at $40. Oops, I wrote down 40 there. Why did we like Roblox? I'm almost done, guys. Bear with me one more second. Why did we write down Roblox at $40 at 8 a.m. on this list? Well, first of all, it closes $1 in the money on that one. But here's the buy on Roblox, right? We had bought it early there. It falls in. I guess that must have been VWAP early, $40. Then we drips in to $39.87. Why did we hold it? There's our out at the end of the day. Decent out at the end. We liked it because it was kind of a breakout trade, trying to hide, I thought, in sheep's clothing. We tried to break out right there through 40. So, oh no, I zoomed this out too far. All right, so here it is on the daily. Let's just have a look on the daily then. So there's 41 trying to break out. You see these bottoms right here at 40? I just thought that we could hold these bottom wicks, which is why we were waiting for 39.50 to break. So I really like this level there on Roblox. We took a shot today, and that shot paid dividends. So that was a pretty good trade there. But we can't stop without doing one more thing, Adara.
Roll call.
This is something that, as we know, often imitated, but
On
never
our show,
duplicated.
But never duplicated.
What's a lie? Well, like, I guess it's always, I mean, it's the other way around.
People try
we
and they
try,
can't.
right, it's like you can't get to that, you know, because you and Sharif doing it differently. So often imitate, never duplicate. Yeah, unless I'm doing it, it can't be duplicated.
Yeah, they're not twinned, I guess, yeah.
Kyle Burdett's here. He can tell you that. Kyle Burdett gets many, many shout outs here on the show. There it is. Thank you so much, $dollar Bill. If your name is Bill, I mean, how amazing is that for a screen name? So shout out to $dollar Bill. Great chat with Michael. Hey, that's what we're trying to do. It's very easy for me to talk to guests, obviously, on the show because A, they're friends of the family, and B, I know they actually trade. And when we're asking them questions about stuff, the answer I get back, we're listening, we're assessing it, and we're bringing that information right there back to you. So I do appreciate that. Thank you for all the love about all the guests that we continue to get. But you know what? Shout out to Adara, who's staying with us. Shout out to For Profit. RB Sniper is here. Pitchbull is here. Raul is here. Brian Tom. If I do those dramatic pauses, just a little more dramatic.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I was confused.
We're not done yet, though, Ramin. You got to hit the siren. That's the thing. Fabian blasts that, then I immediately know that I'm way over. Young Fuzz, hopefully like Young Gravy. Oh, Young Gravy slipped into Hawk Tua's DM. So very, very
That
interesting
surprises
right there.
me not. Actually, that does surprise me because he usually likes like moms. So that's kind of weird.
Ouch, Young Gravy. Shade on Young Gravy.
That's
What's
a
up
lot
with
of
that?
shit on Young. Look up the Addison Rae thing. That's all I got. He dated her mom. It was really weird. I'll stop talking.
All right, shout out to Zach Wilson from my New York Jets fans right there. Zion Lala, Kyle Burdett, Peter, Brian Thompson, Sonny Shiba, Pran is here. Rivian Millionaire is here. Still waiting to make my first million trading Rivian. Pran, JR Sun, Bears vs. Bulls. Hurry, he says. Trader Nick, Mr. Yen, Hans Beer. Thank you so much to everybody, man. We are here. Thank you for a great trading day. You're welcome, Saad. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching because you don't know it's a great trading day unless you're watching the show. So thank you, Adair, for staying late one more time. Thank you to Ramin for working the ones and twos. Always a great time. You never know the content that's going to spit out when she's working that board.
Really
that
don't.
is for sure. Good shout out to Sharif. Neil, and of course, our guest of the day there, Michael Noss. Not only was he here at 8:30, but he's also here at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So thank you to Michael, real one, staying with us. But I can't do it without Bears vs. Bulls. So a big shout out once again to Bears vs. Bulls. For everybody watching us live right now, thank you so much. I'm back at 8:30 tomorrow, whether you like it or not. This is at Trader TV Sean. That's at Trader TV Adara. And hey, we're going to keep on going. It's Trader TV Live. Check you tomorrow. Ciao.